Still, there was no grip on the ground.
Everybody just held their breath until we landed. Until we stopped. And as soon as we stopped, everyone just kind of exhaled.
What specifically is elitist about how she's pursuing Medicare for all?
Well, the attitude that we know better than ordinary people what's in their interest. I know more than you. Let me tell you what to do. And it wasn't she's elitist. The attitude is elitist, that people can't make up their own minds. Where I come from, growing up in a middle-class neighborhood, the last thing I liked is people telling my family and me what we should know, what we should believe. Everybody says the House will...
How about we give them a tough, smart woman to vote for? If you've got more ideas. I was told what I needed to do was smile more.
The Secretary of State Tillerson.
Trust is not just one of the things in policing, it is the only thing.
You have some never-Trumpers. It seems that nobody has any first-hand knowledge. There is no first-hand knowledge. Let's find the 10 people that hate President Trump the most, and let's put them up there. Now, let me just tell you, I hardly know the gentleman. The text message that I saw from Ambassador Sondland, who's highly respected, was, there's no quo. He said that. They shouldn't be having public hearings. This is a hoax. This is just like the Russian witch hunt. This is just a continuation. I don't want to give credibility to a corrupt witch hunt. I'd love to have Mick go up, frankly. I think it'd do great. I'd love to have him go up. I'd love to have almost every person.
President Trump's former Homeland Security advisor, Tom Bossert, when it came out, the White House Chief of Staff reportedly supported this, what is clearly you have to do this if you want the money. Because literally, and you know this because you have been a strong advocate for military aid to Ukraine, literally, Ukrainians desperately needed this military aid and were dying, literally being killed between the time that the money was held up in July and when it was released in September. So this isn't just about political games and throwing out names like Alexandra Chalupa. This is about people who desperately need military aid getting it.
Jake, there's a war going on and people are dying. You know, President Obama, we authorized $300 million of lethal defensive weaponry. He never supplied it. I would take things that Colonel Vindman says with a grain of salt as well, because in his testimony, he said the Obama administration provided Javelin weapons. They didn't. It was March 2018 that 210 Javelin weapons were finally approved in terms of movement over to Ukraine. So again, yes,
it doesn't concern you that Mulvaney is bringing up this quid pro quo.
Why weren't the Ukrainians asking me about where's all the support?
But sir,
they never
doesn't
brought that
concern
issue.
you.
Poroshenko didn't in my other meetings. It wasn't until the very end of August, a few weeks before the end of the fiscal year.
Senator Murphy.
When I raised the issue, he vehemently, adamantly, and angrily denied that there was any kind of, condition to release that. He was concerned about corruption. He was concerned about the fact that Europe doesn't step up to the plate and provide as much support as they really should because it's in their backyard. I'm just telling you what I know about my own conversation with President Trump.
Sean Hannity is looking forward to 2020.
What are we now, 364 today or 363, Linda? I didn't hear the great Scott Shannon. All right, it's 363 days away. So it's a year away. We'll know 1 year from today. We will know that Donald Trump was hopefully reelected president of the United States. Can't say for certain. I'm going to tell you something. Don't ever take any election for granted.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Famous conservative quotes presented by Automated Systems.
The late great Winston Churchill said, "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks." Pretty wise words considering all of the distractions in modern society.
Manufacturing companies, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and systems integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet FDA compliance requirements. Automated Systems will create a custom solution for your business that will make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. From Fortune 500 to startup, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI, 844-HIRE-ASI, or online at hireasi.com.
Are you looking for the perfect gift? I hope you'll check out Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. I love these guys. Mike Gallagher here at Roland's. Not only do they care about making America great again, they also care about making your holiday moments memorable. You know, buying jewelry is about trust. Roland's is the go-to place. You're going to see why when you visit RolandsJewelers.com or head to downtown Libertyville to work with them in person. It's no hassle. They'll show you pieces from the top designers, Simon G. with beautiful pendants. The Hearts on Fire diamond earrings are a great choice. Italian designer Roberto Coin's collection is gorgeous. Ken over at Roland's is offering up to $500 for AM 560 The Answer listeners. Not just for jewelry, but luxury timepieces, like the watch I wear from Roland's, Shinola, or Longines, or Tag Heuer. Your choice. Roland's Jewelers makes your gift giving easy. RolandsJewelers.com. Let them help you in-store in downtown Libertyville. Roland's Jewelers is a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
5:36 AM 560 Traffic Center time, and Jim Talamonte.
In Mount Eisenhower, the ramp to the outbound Kennedy is open again after an overnight closure for construction. We're not seeing significant delays yet on the Ike. Eden to Kennedy look fine. Inbound Stevenson, traffic is slow. Cicero to Pulaski. Ashland to the Rhine. We're looking at 2 or 3 minutes worth of delays tops at the moment. The Rhine getting a tad congested approaching downtown. Got Bishop Ford, traffic slowing now. Cottage Grove at the merge. We've got a 1 or 2 minute delay. I-57's fine. No delays to report on the tollways. There is still some morning construction affecting the Tri-State Tollway in several areas. Also, the Reagan Tollway eastbound, 59 Raymond. There's a left lane closure. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny, very cold today, 21 for a high temp. Breezy, temps falling to near the record of 6 above. Overnight, tomorrow cloudy, brisk, still bitterly cold, high of 29. Currently 8 above at O'Hare. It is 14 above along the lakefront, 5 above in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by AM Woodland Outdoor Design, luxury outdoor living, amwoodland.com.
Cause they got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, starting with my alma mater. And as you know, every time my alma mater is in the news, the value of my degree goes down and going down.
Oh, it's sinking today, Dan, on a national level.
Daily Northwestern making national news by apologizing for covering former Attorney General Jeff Sessions' speech on campus on November 5th.
Well, he was here to address college Republicans, and student activists protested the speech, objecting to the Trump administration's treatments of immigrants. So the Daily Northwestern covered it and interviewed people protesting, and they didn't like that. That triggered them, Dan. They were in an unsafe space.
This editorial. And
it's unbelievable. This is not a parody, folks, either.
At the end, I'm going to read the names, and I've tweeted it out. Make sure you take notice of the names, because the name signed to this editorial will, some, if not all of them, will most certainly be working for major media outlets sometime in the not-too-distant future, and charged with actually covering serious things. So this is such a great example of how the leftist big government media continues to, amplify big government politicians and get even more extreme, less fact-based, more narrative-focused than they were a generation ago and a generation before that. This pipeline from alleged great journalism schools like Northwestern. We recognize that we contributed to the harm students experienced, and we wanted to apologize for it and address the mistakes we made that night, along with how we plan to move forward.
This is one area of our reporting that harmed many students was our photo coverage of the event. Some protesters found photos posted to reporters' Twitter accounts re-traumatizing and invasive. Okay, now remember, these people chose to protest an event in a public area, okay? Those photos have since been taken down. On one hand, as a paper of record for Northwestern, we want to ensure students, administrators, and alumni understand the gravity of the events that took place Tuesday night.
Right, the gravity of the events. You had a former Attorney General speak on campus. They refer to it as a traumatic event. We feel that covering traumatic events, Jeff Sessions gave a talk. We feel that covering traumatic events requires a different response than many other stories. They also, recounting their process in obtaining comments from students.
They did what reporters do. Sometimes we ask them for phone numbers, and they asked students for phone numbers, and that they felt harmed and unsafe because of that.
We recognize being contacted like this is an invasion of privacy, and we've spoken with those reporters, along with our entire staff, about the correct way to reach out to students for stories. What is the correct way? They don't say. Also, they removed the identification of one protester quoted in the article because that could be used against the participating students, the students who participate in the protesters. They write, while some universities grant amnesty to student protesters, Northwestern does not. We didn't want to play any role in any disciplinary action that could be taken by the university. Right. So if you're just protesting and exercising your right to protest, then there is no issue, right? It's only when you cross the lines of the law that it becomes an issue. So they want, they're essentially, this is in addition to an apology, it's also an endorsement of lawless protesting, just so we're clear on the merits here. Ultimately, the Daily Northwestern, failed to consider our impact in our reporting surrounding Jeff Sessions. We know we hurt students that night, especially those who identify with marginalized groups.
This paper should be shut down. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. I mean, the protesters decided on their own to disrupt a public event. And if they wanted to protect their identities and not be photographed or interviewed, then they should have stayed home. So this is how we're going to do business in the future. And this is part of, I know all the Medill students aren't part of the Daily Northwestern, but a lot of them work for that paper to know what it's like to be a real reporter out there.
We hope we can rebuild trust that we weakened or lost last week.
Oh, my God.
This is all of this hand-wringing is over covering Jeff Sessions coming to campus to give a talk and protesters protesting his speech. That happens I know from being there and from heading up a conservative speakers bureau while I was there. That happens anytime any conservative comes to speak at Northwestern. I know because I brought them. Bill Buckley and Dan Quayle and John Doggett, who testified on behalf of Clarence Thomas at the Clarence Thomas hearings, and Dinesh D'Souza, and the list goes on. Every
Michael Medved, right?
single time.
You were protested every time.
Troy, these are the bright young people, the shining stars, the future leading journalists of America. Troy Clausen, editor-in-chief. I don't know if I'm traumatizing them by reading their names, but they did put their names at the bottom of this editorial, so I guess it's okay. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are anymore. Troy Clausen, editor-in-chief. Catherine Henderson, print managing editor. Christina Karish, print managing editor. Peter Warren, print managing editor. Christopher Vasquez, digital managing editor. Sanea Day, diversity and inclusion chair.
What is...
Evan Robinson Johnson, photo editor. Amy Lee, campus editor. These are congratulations. Your parents must be very proud. The money is being very well spent. This is exactly why, again, during my time there, I was part of a group that started the Northwestern Chronicle, which was an alternative to the Daily Northwestern because, the 2019 iteration of the Daily Northwestern is just about 15 degrees more extreme than it was 25 years ago. And I guess it's stories like this that just bring it home for people who are otherwise asleep at the switch, even if they're alums or even if they have students going to schools like Northwestern.
I just don't know how taking pictures of the protests undermine their physical safety or put them at risk. That's why this is hard to process what's happening and why this is such why they apologized. Because they didn't need to apologize.
This is happening at other schools, too. These are the best schools in America, right? Putatively. Best schools in America. At Harvard, Harvard student government has voted to support an activist student group calling for the boycott of their campus newspaper because the activists are calling on the campus newspaper to not quote ICE in stories. They should not be allowed to talk to ICE with respect to immigration-related issues because that platforms ICE, and you can't platform ICE. You have to pretend ICE doesn't exist, so you have to deplatform ICE. This is the conversation we had yesterday about this interview Nick Gillespie over at Reason.com did with Errol Morris, leftist documentarian who has a documentary on Steve Bannon coming out called American Dharma that couldn't get distribution for 2 years because Errol Morris was a traitor to leftism by even choosing Bannon as a subject, even though he doesn't share Bannon's politics, doesn't particularly care for Bannon, had some harsh things to say about Bannon in the interview with Gillespie. It doesn't matter. You acknowledge Bannon's existence. You platformed him. These people, this cancel culture, these people need to be erased. Organizations, agencies we don't like need to be erased. That's Northwestern. That's Harvard. You think that's worth $250 grand, $300 grand?
Oof.
Dave and Racine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, maybe they should have a new name for the Northwest Wildcats. Change it to the Pussycats and remove the cat.
Oh, thanks for the call, Dave. Yeah, well, their play on the sporting fields would speak to that. But, we could get, what's her name from the Pussycat Dolls?
Oh.
Could be our mascot.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm blanking on her. Nicole, not Schlesinger.
Don't ask me to pronounce the name.
Something
Nicole,
like that.
All right, I'll look it up.
Dan in Libertyville.
I fully understand why these so-called students want to not have their photographs or names listed because they know what they do when they find an opponent's name. They go after them in every conceivable way. They attack them, and they try to run them down. So they're afraid they might get tit for tat.
Well, I guess, yeah, thanks for the call, Dan. I don't know. They're thugs who are traumatized by the slightest thing, right? I mean, that's what cowards, I guess that's just a another working definition of a coward.
Well, I mean, the editors also apologized for reporters using Northwestern's directory, Dan, to obtain phone numbers for students and asking if they want to be interviewed. We recognize being contacted like this is an invasion of privacy. No, it is not. You put yourself out there in a protest in a public arena, and you can be contacted just like everybody else. It's called covering a story, folks.
Well, also the student directory is
public.
Effectively a public document on campus.
The phone book. You looked me up in the phone book? How could you?
The University of Virginia announced it would be eliminating the 21-gun salute from its Veterans Day ceremony yesterday because they didn't want to cause any trauma to students who might hear gunshots. The college president. 2 reasons. One is that it would be disruptive to classes. 2, unfortunately, with gun violence in the U.S., there was some concern we would cause a panic if someone heard gunshots on the grounds. No, so 21-gun salutes from the the college's ROTC program as part of a Veterans Day ceremony. That's out too, because everything's traumatic. Traumatic.
They were in school yesterday.
Jose Cabranes, who is a judge on the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Higher education's enemy within, op-ed in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend. American higher education seems to be in a permanent state of crisis. Almost monthly, a federal court has occasion to reprimand some college or university for improperly chilling speech, even as some students continue to complain that campuses are too friendly to the wrong kind of speakers. I mean, more than that, this is the incubator of fascists who believe that the First Amendment should be severely limited based on content, based on the particular speaker and the content of that speech. And I'm not talking about speech as action. I'm talking about opinions they don't like, viewpoints they want to silence, people they want to deplatform. 2 basic and mutually reinforcing phenomena are behind the chaos on campus, writes Judge Cabranes. First, colleges and universities have subordinated their historic mission of free inquiry to a new pursuit of social justice. Yes, we know. Second, American colleges and universities have been overwhelmed by a dangerous alliance of academic bureaucrats and student activists committed to imposing the latest social justice diktats. This alliance has displaced the traditional governors of the university, the faculty. Indeed, non-faculty administrators and activists are driving some of the most dangerous developments in university life, including the erosion of due process rights of faculty and students, efforts to regulate the permissible limits of classroom discussion, and the condemnation of unwelcome ideas as hate speech. Yeah. And what we're talking about at Northwestern, at Harvard, at UVA, again, some of the nation's best schools we're led to believe, is just an expression of what Cabranes is describing in his op-ed.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your low water pressure, discolored water, or pipe leaks by repiping your home today. Repipe specialists have been repiping homes for over 25 years. With 40,000 home repipes completed, they stand behind their work. They have perfected the most efficient process for customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialists only uses high-quality PEX or USA Grade L copper pipe. And for a limited time, get 20% off and 0% interest. Repipe Specialists, the no-hassle, value-priced, all-inclusive repipe. Call today for your free in-home estimate tailored for your home at 800-216-0130. That's 800-216-0130. 800-216-0130.
You've heard Rumpke's Garage commercials on AM 560, so you know they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Rumpke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Rumpke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Remke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Remke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to remkesgarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Remke's, REMKES, garage.com.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-670-1551.
We're going to have Gary Yeager on.
1551.
10, 15, 20, 30-year term, whole life, universal life, index universal life, variable universal life, long-term care. Are you confused yet? No need to be. For nearly 3 decades, Northern Resource Group has assisted families and businesses understand the maze of insurance and safe money choices. Then, after careful analysis of your needs, they shop and search every leading company to find the best products and services for your family or business. Whether it's tax advantage policies, living benefits, simple term insurance, or something else, Northern Resource Group excels in selection, underwriting, and service. Call Chicagoland-based Northern Resource Group to receive your free, valuable, all-life report. It's packed with educational and easy-to-understand information. Call toll-free 888-762-8020 or visit northernresourcegroup.com. Northern Resource Group, Chicagoland's insurance and safe money professionals. That's 888-762-8020 or online at northernresourcegroup.com. Again, that number, 888-762-8020.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Yesterday, the icy conditions and snow.
Oh, yeah.
Had one American Airlines plane sliding off the runway at O'Hare.
Yeah, it was from Greensboro, North Carolina to O'Hare. They circled around a few times before they landed, and it was pretty scary stuff.
Once again, runway 10 left and taxiway Tango. We have an aircraft that slid off the runway.
And the passengers were genuinely freaked out.
As soon as we landed, we could start feeling something a little off there, and then we tried to do a little turn, and that's when we started going sideways.
The pilot started zigzagging the plane to try to stop it, and still there was no grip on the ground.
Everybody just held their breath until we landed. Until we stopped, and as soon as we stopped, everyone just kind of exhaled.
Yeah, about 15% of the day's schedule was canceled yesterday. We got also, too, those waiting at the terminal to have that plane
Well, park at the gate so they could deplane and get back on.
Sure, exactly. So we got audio of them, too. There was a bit of confusion there.
Flight 209 now arriving gate 8, gate 9, gate 10.
Push up
Gate 13, gate 14, gate 15. Gate 23, 24, 25.
Yeah, it was a little disquieting to hear ATC lose control like that.
Well, all 38 passengers and the 3 crew members, thank goodness, and nobody was injured. They were removed from the plane. And Channel 7 had it. They had a firefighter on the plane telling people to leave, and nobody wants to leave their stuff. And the firefighter's like, Well, I promise you we will get your stuff to you later. You need to get off the plane right now. Leave your bags on the plane.
Did they get to jump off onto the that
No.
bouncy house thing? That'd be fun.
The water slide? No, they didn't. They walked out the side door.
All right, coming up, our old friend from Chicago comes to us by way of Toronto now. Jerry Agar is going to join us at 6:06. We were talking about the cancel culture in part with that Northwestern Chronicle story.
Yes.
A famed hockey announcer in Canada named Don Cherry. I guess he would be like to Canada what like Pat Foley is to Chicago.
Okay.
He got ash-canned yesterday for some comments he made about individuals and their conduct on Remembrance Day, which is their counterpart to our Veterans Day. We're going to talk to Jerry Agar about Don Cherry at 6:06.
But now let's head straight into the newsroom for news here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
A lakeshore flood warning remains in effect. Chicago setting records for snowfall and low temperatures. Warming centers are open around the state and here in the Chicago area. Nearly 180 crashes, by the way, statewide during the snowy weather, which extended all the way down to St. Louis. Mayor Lori Lightfoot in Springfield today, hat in hand on the final day of the veto session. And Bradley University addressing a large budget deficit. Sunny and cold in your forecast. WIND, Chicago News Time, 6.
Israel takes out a terror leader. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. An Islamic Jihad commander and his wife killed in an airstrike in Gaza. Another militant also killed in another bombing, so the Palestinians are retaliating. Firing rockets into Israel.
Getting very close to the Israeli city of Tel Aviv. Some rockets reportedly making their way closer to Jerusalem. More than 60 rockets, according to the Israeli Defense Forces, have been fired. And a text sent to Fox News from a senior Hamas official, that's the other group in the Gaza Strip. They are in control of Gaza. Said, quote, major escalation is expected.
That's Fox's Trey Yangston, Gaza City. A lot of dreamers are outside the Supreme Court. Some camped out. They are at the heart of a hearing this morning into President Trump's attempt to end an Obama-era program. Fox's Rachel Sutherland is live in Washington.
Dave, at issue is President Trump's effort to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, legal. The Obama-era policy protects hundreds of thousands of people brought to the U.S. illegally as children from deportation. The Trump administration argues the program is illegal on grounds President Obama overreached his authority by using executive action to bypass Congress. Lower courts have allowed DACA to remain in place while the case made its way to the Supreme Court. The 9 justices will hear 90 minutes of oral arguments in the case. Dave.
Rachel, President Trump just tweeted that many of the people in DACA, no longer very young, are far from angels, calling some hardened criminals. Jimmy Carter, who at 95 is the oldest ex-president ever, is in a Georgia hospital and will have surgery this morning.
To relieve pressure on his brain. That pressure coming from bleeding triggered by some falls he's taken recently. President Carter suffered 3 falls this year alone.
Fox's Ed Henry and other Democrats considering a late run for president. Deval Patrick, a former Massachusetts governor, joining ex-New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg exploring 2020. The deadline to file in the first primary state, New Hampshire, is Friday. America's listening to Fox News.
9 degrees above, a wind chill of 8 below at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Historic day of weather yesterday. The National Weather Service says at the official measuring point, O'Hare, 3.4 inches of snow in the city. That broke the previous record for November 11th. Chicago also saw temperatures drop to 8 overnight. That ties the old record for November 12th. That was set back in 1950 when Midway was the official reporting center. Yesterday brought a little more than 2 inches of snow, a new record for the day. And in northwest Indiana, lake effect snow. There, Mallory Duncan with INDOT says crews were ready to go.
We've been preparing for this winter event really since the beginning of October, which is earlier than we have done in years past.
National Weather Service says temps will only reach the 20s today throughout northwest Indiana in Cook County and all of the Keller counties. Lakeshore flood warning remains into effect. Surfers take note. Waves are at about 14 feet this morning. In other news, Chicago rapper Little Reese is in critical condition. Shot in Country Club Hills near 167th and Pulaski. No arrests have been made in that case. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot in Springfield today. The mayor hoping to make a deal with lawmakers in order to make a proposed Chicago casino more attractive to potential developers. Bradley University working to erase an $8 million budget deficit. The private university alerted faculty and staff with an email yesterday that the administration is considering everything from shrinking size, compensation, and benefits to eliminating or downsizing the graduate school. Bulls host the Knicks tonight. College basketball last night. DePaul now 4-0 after they knocked off Iowa 93-78. The news, a service of T-Mobile, with data and texting included in over 200 countries and destinations. T-Mobile for Business keeps you connected at the corner coffee shop or a cafe halfway around the world. Business is changing. Are you with them? Visit T-Mobile.com/business. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315. That's 800-597-0315. 800-597-0315. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
If you own a business and are planning for 2020, listen to this important message. A big change is coming to Windows that will directly impact your networking system. Windows 7 is expiring, folks, in mid-January, and Microsoft will stop releasing updates and patches for this version. Now, without those updates, your network security will be compromised. Windows 10 is the required operating system to keep your network secure, and Turnkey IT can help your business with their information, employee information, and customer information, and keep it safe with a free security audit that's normally valued at $600. Heck, they'll even recommend a complete strategy that offers protection for your company's data and network. So let the pros at Turnkey IT help you start the year out right with the ultimate security protection and a network upgrade. You've heard the Turnkey IT name for a long time here on AM 560, and they're just like you, a locally owned business that understands the needs of other local businesses. In fact, Turnkey IT specializes in working with businesses that employ 5 to 200 employees. So leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on what's important. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
Travel your way with the Apple Vacation Super Sale. With more destinations, more relaxation, and more fun, Apple Vacations puts affordable prices and unbeatable value right at your fingertips. It's all included: flights, hotels, meals, drinks, and ground transportation in one convenient package price. With up to 60% off and instant savings up to $600 at participating resorts. Choose your own adventure in Dominican Republic and explore all the stunning beaches and endless activities this island has to offer. For an unforgettable vacation full of serenity and adventure, Dominican Republic has it all. Call Carey Travel Express at 847-639-3300 or visit CareyTravelExpress.com to book your Apple vacation today. Savings valid at participating resorts on select dates from January through April 2020. Restrictions apply.
This month at Napa, AAA members get a 20% discount. So save big on batteries, brake pads, and more. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores, exclusions may apply. May not be combined with other offers. Offer ends 11/30/19.
It is 6:07 in the AM 560 Traffic Center, and the latest on the roads with Jim Telemonte.
Careful on the roads. There is a crash in West Chicago on Roosevelt at 59. A collision at Lake Street at 59 in Bartlett has cleared. Kennedy inbound delays are Cumberland to Harlem and Nagle to Lawrence. 27 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 26. Some westbound 190 traffic building between Kennedy and Manheim. About Eisenhower looking at 34 minutes 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57's okay for now. Foundation Ford, 22 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Tollway traffic moves well. No problems to report in Northwest Indiana. For now, no problems to report on the rails. I'm Jim Alamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Meteorologist Steve Williams.
A lakeshore flood advisory in effect this morning. Sunny, cold day today, high 21. It'll be breezy and cold tonight with increasing cloudiness, low down to 10. Clouds brisk, a very cold day tomorrow with a high at 29. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
It is 8 above at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. It was Veterans Day yesterday, so politicians were out in force, like Bill de Blasio in New York City being welcomed by Big Apple's faithful.
You, de Blasio! Bring out their motherfucking scumbags!
Yeah.
So New York.
Happy Veterans Day. Bluebirds are out in force. Yeah.
Wow. And he thought he could be president.
That is a customary New York greeting, particularly for a Sandinista like de Blasio. So there's no issue with that. I thought that was nicely done by those New York City residents welcoming their mayor. In Canada,
they have Remembrance Day.
Yeah, they have Remembrance Day, exactly. And Don Cherry, he's like a celebrated hockey announcer up there. And I don't know if you've heard, hockey's a big sport in
Canada. It's kind of a big deal. But he's really flamboyant. He wears these, really outrageous sports coats, and
so does Barry Melrose.
Yeah, I know, but it's his thing. It's great.
Right, and so he's a popular figure. 85 years old, been around a long time. He hosts Hockey Night in Canada, and on the occasion of Remembrance Day, he went off on a bit of a discussion point. Saying, you people, you love our way of life, you love our milk and honey, at least you can pay a couple of bucks for a poppy or something like that. This is during his Coach's Corner segment. These guys pay for your way of life that you enjoy in Canada. These guys pay the biggest price.
And wearing of poppies in Canada honors the country's war dead on Remembrance Day.
So
red flower.
This was taken as singling out new immigrants in Toronto and Ontario, where he lives, for not honoring Canada's veterans, and both living and dead. And he was fired. Fired for saying, you love our way of life, you love the milk and honey, at least you can pay a couple of bucks for a poppy or something like that. These guys paid your way of life that you enjoy in Canada. These guys paid the biggest price. Fired for that.
Yeah, for the you people. You people.
And
I'm never going to say you people again.
And yet Justin Trudeau can get reelected prime minister in blackface. I'm confused about Canada's cancel culture. For some help with that, we're pleased to be joined by Jerry Agar, who is the 9 to noon host on News Talk 1010 in Toronto. He's also a columnist for the Toronto Sun and a longtime friend of the show. We worked together when he was in Chicago. We all did.
Remember that? Remember that one night while the three of us were together? Working.
Okay, Katie Hill, take it easy. Reunited, and it feels so good. Jerry Agar, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
As soon as you threw in working, you destroyed the whole image.
Yeah, exactly.
How could I?
Well, the story,
Darn it.
the story you could tell, Jerry. We did probably an imperfect job in describing how big Don Cherry is in Canada and how big this event is. But why don't you give us some color on Don Cherry and this flap that led to his firing?
Well, yes, 38 years actually doing that show called Coach's Corner between the first and second periods of Hockey Night in Canada, which is a big deal on Saturday nights, whoever happens to be playing. And he's there talking about hockey in general, but he tends to go in other directions as well. And supporting the troops is a real main theme of his. So that was really no surprise on the 11th of, coming up on, as Amy points out, we call Remembrance Day in Canada, Veterans Day, and admonishing people for not wearing a poppy would also not be surprising from him. I think he is the most watched person on television, or was up to last Saturday. But then he threw in this thing about new immigrants and you people. He actually uses the phrase "you people" all the time, no matter who he's talking to. But of course, that isn't going to matter to the cancel culture, which is exactly, I heard you say that, and Dan, and that's also the term that I'm using. It's not enough to criticize them and use your own speech. We're in a culture now where, especially if you're on the right and say something people don't like, then you must be obliterated from society.
Well, do you think there's going to be any pushback from fans? I mean, will they protest? Will they, try to get him back on the air?
Well, I think that fans may do that, but the thing is, 38 years on television, and he's got, I don't know, a controversy a month. It seems like he's constantly saying something that angers people, and there probably are executives. I know that executives at the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, the CBC, for many years would try to get rid of him, and he used to brag that he just outlasted all the managers that came and went. And then finally they got this one, and I think they also decided it's been 38 years. He's 85 years old. We've got the opportunity here. I wouldn't discount that as being a part of it.
I think we're going to have to go back and force NBC to edit the Seinfeld Festivus episode when it's in rerun, because I got a lot of problems with "you people." There's that phrase again. And context doesn't matter, and just as it doesn't matter here to the totalitarians on the well, they're always on the left, but the totalitarians who want to silence people like Don Cherry. So maybe we're going to have to go through and scrub books and TV shows and movies for this phrase "you people."
Well, certainly. I mean, you've got people going back now and saying, well, we didn't like something somebody did in 1812, so we're taking their statue down. Living by the shifting standard is going to be pretty difficult. And you pointed out at the top there, Dan, that here's a guy who got fired because of a phrase he said, and we reelected a prime minister who did blackface. And in fact, so many times that he won't actually cop to any number. He doesn't know how many times he did it.
Well, I mean, who can keep track of that, Jerry? I mean, it's so difficult to keep track of something like that.
I guess. The problem that Don...
Well, real quick,
go ahead,
about Trudeau. I mean, what was people's reaction when those pictures were revealed? Because we don't live in Canada, so what was it like?
Well, it depended on who you were talking to. I mean, we recently had a politician who was running. She said, I was going door to door campaigning, and I'm campaigning in a district that has a lot of black residents, and they're telling me, oh no, that was an honor that Justin Trudeau showing that he loves us. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they never would have said that if I'd have done the blackface, or if the conservative candidate Andrew Scheer would have done blackface. It's what we're talking about in the cancel culture. Really is an enormous double standard.
Is Don Cherry known to be a conservative, or is he just known to be like sort of Andy Rooney-ish, sort of irascible and just and speaks plainly and in such a way that offends, that is traumatic to so many people these days?
I think it's both. People may remember our infamous late mayor, Rob Ford. When Rob Ford got elected and he was being installed in office, they had Don Cherry come and speak, and he actually said during his speech, well, this is going to anger all you pinkos out there. So that tells you where he comes from.
All right, well, so I like him already. Maybe we can get him down here.
I mean, I like his outlandish suits.
Well, he's available.
Oh, hey. And Don Cherry, one thing he and I have in common, he mangles the names of foreign-born players.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. But that was part of his shtick, though, right? Wasn't it?
So did Harry Carey.
Oh, yeah.
And American-born players, too, for that matter.
Yeah, well, but that's part of his problem is that also he will start a sentence and halfway through it, he'll just decide to talk about something else. And so sometimes, because he claims, he was on last night with our evening announcer, Barbara DiGiulio, and he said to her, I didn't really mean it as an attack on new immigrants, but because he sort of mangles his sentences, it just, the way it came out, that's how it sounds. And being Don Cherry, he says, I said it, and I'm not going to apologize.
I got an idea who could replace Don Cherry. I don't know if you're going to take calls on this or you've got some suggestions, but I got an idea. And I don't know, obviously, Canadian politics and culture the way you do, but a name comes to mind, an obvious name.
Who?
Okay.
Who?
Jessica Yaniv. The trans.
Oh, who wanted to get the naughty bits waxed?
Wanted a bikini wax on his nuts. Yeah, right.
That doesn't fit in a bikini, sir.
Isn't that like a great symbol of culture in the West these days? Don't you think?
Well, sure. We'll go from outrage on one side to outrage on the other side. That's hilarious. I'm going to quote you on my show.
All right. That's certainly going to help popularize me in Toronto. I know that.
Yeah.
Jerry Agar.
Well, your Q rating's not so big here, Dan.
Yeah, I know. I think what the times I've come on your show to talk about Trump, I can only imagine the safe spaces that need to be created for some folks. Jerry Agar, he is the 9 to noon host on News Talk 1010 in Toronto. He's also a Toronto Sun columnist. Jerry, great to speak with you as always. Thanks for joining us.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Bye, Jerry. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
I don't believe you people.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me, I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
All right, I'll admit it. I was off Balance of Nature for a few weeks, and now I'm back on it. Got a new, fresh supply of it. And you know what? My leg cramps that would wake me up in the middle of the night are gone. True. Why? Well, I'm probably getting potassium. I know I am by taking Balance of Nature. With 6 capsules of Balance of Nature, you're getting 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies, all in a single capsule with no preservatives. There's no food coloring or dyes. And you hear stories right here on this station about how people's lives have changed dramatically by taking Balance of Nature. And guess what? The next story could be yours, but you've got to order Balance of Nature today. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Now, this offer may end at any time, so do not wait. Call their health coaches. That's right. They're not operators, but they're also health coaches at this number, 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Ask about Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. Again, the number 800-246-8751. Be sure to use discount code Chicago, or you can always go online to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
Message and data rates may apply.
Help! Seriously, I am too young for hair loss.
My hairline keeps creeping back. Receding?
I got this bald spot. It's thinning everywhere.
I'm gonna have to give up and shave it.
Dude, put down the razor, because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, is about to give you your real hair back permanently. Don't ignore the signs of hair loss. Bosley is giving away an absolutely free information kit that reveals all the signs, and a free gift card to anyone who texts SECRET to 85850. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. Using the latest technology, Bosley's solution to hair loss is permanent and protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Plus, since Bosley has new non-surgical options, you owe it to yourself to text now for an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off, no matter what level of hair loss you have. Text SECRET to 85850. That's SECRET to 85850.
Hey, if your basement is flooding only when it rains, then don't call Permaseal. No, you should call Permaseal. You don't have to live like that because you don't want water in your bedroom or in your living room. So why settle for water in your basement? Call Permaseal right now for a free estimate. They'll come to your house within a few days. Sometimes they can come that day to check it out. They'll also check out your foundation if you have uneven floors, if your doors or windows are sticking, or if you see new cracks in your drywall. That means that you have a foundation problem. They'll come and give you a free estimate for that. Absolutely no charge. The number to call, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325. Or go to permaseal.net.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, by the way, just on that Don Cherry thing, postscript. Sportsnet, which is the channel that hosts Hockey Night in Canada, Don Cherry was on, is fine with communist China-controlled Huawei sponsoring Hockey Night in Canada.
Oh.
But they fired Don Cherry for saying, yeah, hey, show a little outward respect in service of our veterans.
I wasn't offended at all by what he said. I mean, he's an old guy. He's 85 years old. Come on. Give him a break. And they should put him back on the air.
Mike on the north side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Mike.
I just wanted to say that good morning. I just wanted to say you guys are fun. I hope I'm not stepping on any toes. Don Cherry's lucky he didn't badmouth the Clintons. Otherwise, he would have committed suicide. Unlike Jeffrey Epstein, who didn't kill himself.
Yeah, nicely worked in.
You mentioned, I like how you mentioned the mayor earlier. She's going down begging, solve my problems. 3 quick things. First off, if you got money problems, quit spending. They haven't cut out overtime. The people sitting around doing nothing. They went on a hiring binge before the hiring freeze. And according to that stupid casino law, until they get the casino up, they could put slot machines at the airports in the meantime. Those should have went in the first day at Midway and O'Hare. Get a couple guys from Grand Avenue or Taylor Street, cut them in, and you'll be making tons of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Mike, you sound like you're getting a cold. Please take care of yourself.
Yeah, the mob economy. No, you're right. I mean, that's what's going to save us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Lori Lightfoot is she's going to meet with lawmakers today in Springfield to change the tax base for the casinos so that we could get a casino here.
In other cultural news, our friend Sean Spicer, he got voted off Dancing with the Stars yesterday, it turns out. He didn't take my advice. What did I tell him to perform? What did I tell him to consider?
The waltz? No.
The waltz.
The cha-cha?
No, I told him to consider a particular song.
Oh, I can't remember that.
Was it Sailing?
No, that's what he did last time.
No,
he did Sailing, and he had a sailor.
No, he did not do Sailing. He did a Styx song. Yeah, in a sailor outfit. No, right. Sailing is Christopher Cross.
Oh, okay.
So,
but he did do a sailing.
You're very adamant
sailing
about
theme
that,
song, and he had a bunch of.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I don't know. Maybe it was 911 as a joke. I can't remember. I always get those two songs confused. Anyway, he with his dance partner Jenna Johnson did an Argentinian tango to Destiny Child's Bills. I don't know. He did a foxtrot to One Direction's Story of My Life, and I'm not ashamed to say One Direction is a boy band that I actually like.
That's all right.
Yeah, One Story of My Life is a good song. And so
you hooked me. You turned me onto that. Night Moves. You love that song.
That's a good song. It's a good song.
But isn't that your go-to karaoke song?
No, it is not. I talk sing. I can only talk sing, so I do either Folsom Prison Blues or 911 is a joke.
Oh, okay.
And it shows my range too between Johnny Cash and Public Enemy. Yeah, you try it. What did you sing at your birthday party on Saturday night?
Anything Mike McGovern was singing. Journey.
Mike McGovern.
He's a photographer at Channel 5. I'm sure you're familiar with his work.
Everybody
you guys
knows
are.
Mike McGovern.
Well, he's a White Sox fan. I went to cover the World Series with him, Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
And he's in a band called Third Leg, I believe. Really inappropriate name of a band, but he's a great singer, so I hooked up with him and sang.
Third leg because he's a drinker.
Sure.
And it's like he's got a third leg.
Right, yeah.
It's like hollow leg.
Yeah,
kind
that's
of thing.
That's what he meant.
So what did you sing?
I sang a bunch of Journey songs. And then we
Like
sang
Don't
ABBA.
Stop Believing?
Yes, Don't Stop Believing and Lights. And I don't know, then it was all blurry. But we sang ABBA, my sisters and I. I put it on Facebook if you want to watch it.
Do you consider
And we're looking for an agent, my sisters and I, because we're pretty good looking. 50 and fabulous-ish.
Sure, for the nursing home circuit, right. Do you consider yourself a Journey fan, like an aficionado?
Yeah, I dabble.
So
not
you're
a huge diehard
Okay.
fan, no.
But can you make a determination on whether Steve Perry is the greatest frontman or that
Asian
Filipino kid they got?
No, Steve Perry's the best. He's much better than him. He's the original. I know. The Filipino kid, he's pretty good, but he's not as good as Steve Perry back in the day. Before he had problems with his vocal cords, because that's why Steve Perry was out.
A related story. I agree with you about Steve Perry.
Thank you. Oh, my God, we agree on something.
A related story. A familiar song comes on the radio. Suddenly you recall every note and every word. New research has pinpointed exactly how long it takes people to recognize their favorite tune. Just 1/10 to 3/10 of a second. That's how quickly.
Oh, my gosh.
How Pavlovian it is. This study included 5 men and 5 women who provided a list of 5 familiar songs they associate with good memories. And each participant randomly played 100 snippets of songs, each less than a second, both a familiar and unfamiliar song. Song recognition was first revealed by pupil dilation, likely associated with increased arousal triggered by the familiar song following brain activity related to the memory retrieval. Isn't that interesting?
Well, remember that show, Name That Tune?
I do
I
remember
can name
it.
that tune in 1 note. I
Right.
can name that tune in 3 notes.
So that's the familiarity and the memory association. So on that score, you don't have to give me the greatest song ever written because I already know what the answer is. But your favorite song. Do you have a favorite song?
A favorite song? No, I have songs like for a week I'll love this song, and then next week I'll love a different song.
There's
and
no
then next
song
one-
that endures, that punctuates the
test of
the
time,
tapestry of your life.
No. What about you?
What do you think? Do you think there's a greatest song, even if it's not your favorite song?
I like the song What About Me. Okay, fine. What about me?
Oh, like
It isn't fair.
the
I've
protest
had
song of the
enough.
spoiled brat.
Oh.
Really?
Song of the spoiled brat.
No.
I like that song.
No, it's a lame song.
What's yours?
I would say this
give me
is
the
this is
top
difficult,
2.
but I've actually reflected on this, unlike some people.
Well, I'm just telling you. I like the song What About Me.
I think the greatest song ever written.
Yeah. Cats in the Cradle?
No. What? No. You ready?
Yes, and I won't shame you if I don't like it. Go.
So it's perhaps a bit obscure for some people. Now I'm talking about pop song. We're not talking about classical music.
Okay.
Iron and Wine's The Trapeze Swinger.
It's a little obscure.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that song.
Mike Scott is intrigued.
I'm
you're
baffled. What's it called? Iron and Wine?
Iron and Wine is the band.
Yeah.
The song is Trapeze Swinger. We'll
Horrible name for a band.
We'll play a little snippet for you after Mike Scott's newscast so that
Okay.
you can bask in my great insight.
All right.
And we'll also see if Amy can tell us who the singer was on the original Name That Tune.
Oh, boy.
She's a very famous,
Judy Garland.
Was until recently a very famous media personality on NBC.
Who?
Kathy Lee Gifford.
Oh.
Kathy
that
Lee
was
Johnson
That's a
at
fun
the time.
fact.
Kathy
Actually,
Lee
I'm
Johnson.
sorry. That's the best song ever constructed. Is Kathy Lee Gifford singing "Name That Tune"?
Oh, gee whiz. It wasn't that good, but it was fun. 9 degrees outside, and skies are clear right now, but there is some lake effect snowfall across the way in Michigan, parts of northwest Indiana. That's tapering off. And a historic day of weather for us here. As the National Weather Service says, officially 3.4 inches of snowfall in the city yesterday. That broke the previous record for November 11th and nearly 2 inches set back in 1995. Former President Jimmy Carter goes into surgery at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta this morning. The operation aims to relieve pressure from bleeding on the brain. A lawsuit on behalf of victims from the Gilroy Garlic Festival shooting in July is expected today. A Detroit hospital says it has carried out a first-of-its-kind procedure for vaping-related injuries in the U.S. Henry Ford Health System says doctors who performed a double lung transplant on a man will discuss it at a news conference later today. President Trump's decision to end the DACA program goes before the Supreme Court later today. Former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick reportedly thinking about running for the White House next year. We're tracking details in Bolivia this morning. The country facing its worst unrest in decades amid a political vacuum, while Evo Morales, who transformed the Andean nation as its first indigenous president, fled the country following weeks of violent protest. Morales flew out around midnight on a Mexican government plane after being granted asylum there. A Chicago rapper is in critical condition. Little Reese was shot in South Suburban Country Club Hills. Officers responding to that shooting say it happened near 167th and Pulaski. Little Reese, also identified as Tavares Taylor, had been shot in the neck. No arrests have been made. Bulls host the Knicks tonight. DePaul knocked off Iowa in college hoops, 93-78. The news, a service of Staples. At Staples, there's a huge selection of ink and toner in stock and at a low price. Right now, earn 25% back in rewards when you purchase $75 of ink or $200 of toner. Ends 11/16/19. Restrictions apply. See store staples.com/25 in rewards. Staples. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, how would you like to have your mortgage or rent paid for an entire year? Would that qualify as a Christmas miracle?
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, you betcha. So it could happen if you enter to win our Christmas Mortgage Miracle contest, presented by AM Woodland Outdoor Design from now through December 20th. But you can only win if you enter. And to do that, go to 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword miracle. That's 560theanswer.com, keyword miracle, to enter for a chance to have your mortgage or rent paid for all of 2020.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
No matter how long it's been, when you're back together, you still get that good old-fashioned feeling. Even though you've been apart, it's as though you've never left. That's right. Football season is back.
Reignite your spark right here on the Husky Sports Network.
It's the Huskies versus the Toledo Rockets this Wednesday night at 7. Don't miss a minute of the action right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention. If you're in debt to the IRS and frustrated with your options, for a limited time you can call and quickly check your eligibility for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problem. Through this special toll-free hotline number, you can find out in minutes if you qualify for these powerful new debt reduction programs green-lighted by the IRS for 2019. If you have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or just want to know your options, business or personal, Republic Tax Relief's A-plus rated tax relief system has helped thousands stop IRS collections immediately and saved millions in tax debt. These relief programs will not last forever. Call their hotline number now, 800-606-8489. That's 800-606-8489. Check your eligibility for tax debt savings today. Call 800-606-8489. That's 800-606-8489.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
6:37 in the AM 560 Traffic Center, and here is Jim Telemonte.
Inbound Kennedy traffic is heavy from Cumberland much of the way into downtown Chicago now. We're looking at 35 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 13 from Montrose, 8 in the Express. Outbound 34 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Eden, got about a 2-minute delay right now, Foster to the junction. Inbound Eisenhower, 39 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 31. Inbound Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 24 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishopport, 22. Northbound Tri-State traffic 70 from the Reagan Tollway to past the Eisenhower. The other tollways are still okay. No delays to report in Northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Calamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, wind chills are all in the negative single digits. Or along the lakefront, 3 below wind chill. Out at O'Hare, around 8 below with the wind chill, and will top out at 21 later on today, and a record low of 6 overnight. It is 8 degrees at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
Yeah, there it is. Trapeze Swinger.
Never heard this song in my life.
The Please Remember Me leitmotif. I mean, it's reflecting back on his coming of age. You understand this?
Okay, well, when is he going to start singing?
So they're folksy. They're folk people. You have to give them a little runway. You got to catch
Did this even make it on the top 10 Billboard?
You have to. This is not to bow. We do not bow to the masses on this show. You have to your mind has to be quiet. You have to let this envelop you.
Can you get to the lyrics already?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, wait, no, I'm
I
letting.
know.
All right, I'm letting it sing.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, here we go. Wait, maybe here we go.
Glam rock tune.
Remember me.
Yeah.
By the rose bush laughing.
This could be your karaoke song. No, keep going.
I could do this.
No, keep going.
Is on my chin. The time when
we counted every black car passing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, by the time I do it, there won't be a dry eye or a uncovered ear in the house. But anyway,
I'm thinking that this should go with your death video montage.
This is a little exactly. This I want this to be the theme music to my death video.
Okay, I'll make that happen.
Yeah. All right. Now you're gonna have to.
I promise I'll come back.
And there
10
might be a
years.
lot. This is like 8 minutes long.
Well, it's already long.
So I just want to make sure you have enough pictures and tributes in my death montage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Very good. That's a little bit of
Okay, well, where's
cultural
my
advancement.
Song? Hey,
It's
Quinn.
your song.
Where's my song? Do you have it?
Yeah.
1982, baby.
Boo-hoo. Cry babies.
I want my share. Can't you see? I want to live.
Yeah.
But you just take more than you give.
Right. Life's unfair. Boo-hoo. Yeah. Get used to it. Babies. Terrible.
Moving Pictures. That's the group.
And by the way,
Yes?
Yeah, that little horn
See,
solo doesn't
Mike
help
likes
that
mine
song
better.
any either.
Mike likes mine better than yours.
No, he does not. Mike is too cultured to like that better than Trapeze Swinger. Please. How embarrassing. Okay, all right. We have to get to this other topic here.
What about Bob?
What about Bob?
Bob and
Is that your
Buffalo
favorite
Grove.
movie?
Oh.
All right, Bob the engineer in Buffalo Grove. You're on Chicago's Morning
It's our
Answer.
favorite engineer.
Yeah, thank you for taking the call. Belated birthday. Hey, what happened to your decorations?
They're
Amy?
back up. Thank you.
You were talking about Name That Tune.
Yes.
That was the second reincarnation of that program. I'm a senior, as you know, and I can remember as a child the first incarnation on TV of that program back in the early 50s. You might want to look it up. That was the first version of it on TV. I think I also may even played on radio.
Was that a TV or
But,
phonograph? Just.
Well, I've still got my 45s.
All right.
You know what they are?
What?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Bob can't drive 45. Yes. All right. Very good. Thank you for that, Bob. And now we know more about Name That Tune
Name that tune.
than we
yes.
ever wanted to know. Just trapeze swinger. Take
Okay.
8 minutes out of your day.
8.
Quiet, and just listen to it. You
All
come
right,
back.
I'll
You come back
download
and
it.
tell me. You come back and tell me that it didn't change your life.
It's 9.5 minutes, actually.
Yeah, well,
according to our producer.
roughly.
9.5
rounding.
minutes.
Well, you can cut the front and the end a little bit too, the instrumental part.
Okay.
Chop it down a bit. This open letter to Wheaton Warrenville Unit School District 200.
Oh no.
Robin Stevenson. On Wednesday, October 2nd, I was scheduled to do an author visit at a District 200 school, Longfellow Elementary in Wheaton. Yeah. What about it? That's my hood. It's part of a U.S. tour for the launch of my newest book, Kid Activists.
Oh, boy.
The book is the latest in the Kid Legend series. It tells the childhood stories of 16 important activists, from abolitionist Frederick Douglass to civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr., to indigenous water protector Autumn Peltier. The night before my talk, my publisher contacted me to let me know my school district had canceled the visit. The reason given was that a parent had complained because one of the activists in my book is Harvey Milk. This action sends a very harmful message to students, particularly students who are themselves LGBTQ+, or have family members who are LGBTQ+. Yeah, Longfellow Elementary. It says their lives can't be talked about, that their very existence is seen as shameful or dangerous. It says that no matter how significant their accomplishments or how much they contribute to the world, they can be erased and made invisible because of who they are. It reinforces ignorance and bigotry. It undermines the school's efforts to encourage all students to act with empathy and understanding. It perpetuates homophobia and promotes silencing, shaming, and discrimination. Boy, it does all those things. The impact of your decision is real, immediate, and distressing. Students in your district have been hurt by your actions. Yeah. And she goes on and on and on. In choosing to cancel the presentation, you denied 175 students the opportunity to hear a presentation from an award-winning children's author. Yeah, well, award-winning these days doesn't mean a lot. Really depends on the award, Miss Stevenson, doesn't it? You legitimized a concern rooted in homophobia, gave this priority over the wishes of school administration and staff who had requested the visit. That's a whole other topic. It made the climate in the school less safe for LGBTQ+ staff and students. You could have told this parent who complained that Harvey Milk is an important historical figure who is widely recognized for his service and his significant contributions to the country before his assassination at the age of 48. In fact, numerous streets in several states and an airport terminal, a U.S. Navy ship are named for him, as are at least 2 schools. I would love to talk to this author. Maybe I could visit when she does, because it turns out that unfortunately Wheaton School District 200 is willing to have her. The response from the school is the problem was the process. The administration was informed the school did not communicate to Longfellow parents information about the content of the book being presented and promoted by the author. Parents were only informed of the author's visit, not the content of the book, presentation, and promotion. So once we are able to do that, then we look forward to speaking with the author and discussing the possibility of scheduling a visit to our school community in the future. Well, let me tell you something, District 200, don't bother. And don't give in to this high-minded bull jive that's coming from Robin Stevenson. Now, let's talk about what she decided to elevate, because Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King Jr. are not in controversy, but Harvey Milk is. And I don't care how many streets are named for a particular person. That doesn't cover for their actual record. We have celebrated all kinds of things in the history of this country that shouldn't have been celebrated, done all kinds of things that shouldn't have been done. So that appeal to authority is a fallacious line of reasoning, and you're not worthy of being in an elementary school class if you think that covers who Harvey Milk was. Why? Because Sean Penn won an Academy Award for his portrayal? Harvey Milk was a demagogue and a Jim Jones flack. Yeah.
Really?
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah. Is that in the history book when you're comparing Harvey Milk to Frederick Douglass, for goodness sakes? Harvey Milk, by the way, wasn't assassinated because he was gay. Does anybody know the story? Do you think Robin Stevenson would tell the kids? Yeah. Harvey Milk Day, the Sean Penn movie to further the stylized history. I mean, look, you have people rewriting history all the time. Angela Merkel just did it on the 30th anniversary of the Berlin Wall coming down, talking about a wall keeping people out, trying to compare it to the modern context of like border security. Of course, everybody who knows anything about history was that the East German Wall was intended to keep people in. But you have the head of state of Germany trying to rewrite Germany's history. Why can't you have Robin Stevenson try to rewrite the history of Harvey Milk and the gay rights movement in furtherance of her agenda? And you know where you start. You start at elementary schools, of course. There was a good piece written several years ago in the City Journal by Daniel Flynn, who reminds us what you should already know if you would do a little bit more digging than, of course, Robin Stevenson will do, and then, of course, Hollywood producers and actors will do. Milk wasn't the only one killed by Dan White, who is this political neophyte.
Mm-hmm.
The San Francisco Mayor George Moscone also was killed. And as Daniel Flynn writes, Harvey Milk's homosexuality played about as much a role in his murder as San Francisco Mayor George Moscone's heterosexuality played in his. The murderer, Dan White, had donated $100 to defeat a Briggs initiative, which would have empowered school boards to fire teachers for homosexuality. White hired a homosexual as his campaign manager, voted as his city supervisor to fund Pride Center for homosexuals. White wasn't driven to murder Milk's vision of gay rights, but rather by something more pedestrian, the petty politics of City Hall. But that doesn't make for good history or the good rewriting of it. Nobody remembers the San Francisco mayor killed by the same guy. Nobody remembers the details because we just have Harvey Milk Day and the SS Harvey Milk, as she says, and street names and so on and so forth, because he was the first openly gay elected official in the country. Okay, fine. That doesn't mean he was a good person. Does your sexuality confer some magical goodness in you? That's the way it's talked about. The left is so absurd. It confers magical goodness based on being LGBTQ+. You're beyond reproach because of your orientation or your identity. And then it also confers patronizing fragility on minorities and other marginalized populations. They're always on the lookout for marginalized populations that they can, marginalize.
Well, what percentage of the population is gay?
What does it matter?
Well, because my kids, I think it's 2% of the population is gay.
Right.
But yet we change all our rules for 2% of the population to appease them.
And
my sons actually thought it was 50%.
Yeah, everybody's gay. Well, that's the point. If a survey that was done last year, what percentage of the American population do you think is LGBT? The median answer was 25%.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's ubiquitous in culture. So it's overrepresented, so people overrepresented in their minds. And it doesn't mean to say that whether you're 2%, 25%, 1/1,000,000%, you don't deserve the equal treatment of the law and dignity and respect. Of course you do. We're talking about public policy. And we're also talking about history.
Right.
And let's get the history right. Reverend Jones is widely known in the minority communities here and elsewhere as a man of the highest character who is undertaking constructive remedies for social problems, which have been amazing in their scope and effectiveness. That's what Harvey Milk wrote President Jimmy Carter 7 months before Jonestown. Was that in
the book?
That in the Harvey Milk movie, Sean Penn?
No.
I didn't catch it if it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as it pertains to the Wheaton School District, Yeah, teach the kids history. Include Harvey Milk. It's a great, and include what Robin Stevenson is trying to do with Harvey Milk's legacy, and she's not alone. That's a real lesson for the kids.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Keystone Pipeline back in service, and China's auto sales fall nearly 6% from a year ago. Boeing crosses its fingers for FAA approval. Those stories are next.
G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free. If you have a rodent or pest problem at your home or business, don't spray harmful toxic chemicals. Use Plug-in Pest Free, the electromagnetic pest control device that uses your wiring to get rid of pests fast. Just plug it in. One customer had a warehouse with a rat problem. He was catching over 20 rats a day. He called pest controllers, but nothing solved the problem. Then I came along. My plug-in pest-free commercial system got rid of the rats, and since then he's seen maybe 3 in the last 12 months. Plug-in Pest-Free is not a sonic device. It's chemical-free and gets rid of pests safely and effectively for years. It comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 2-year warranty. Now that's fair income. Order today and get 20% off at gopestfree.com, promo code SAVE20. That's gopestfree.com, promo code SAVE20. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget with Plug-in Pest-Free.
After a 2-week shutdown, Canadian crude oil again flowing through the Keystone Pipeline had been shut down after the line leaked almost 400,000 gallons of oil in North Dakota. An investigation is continuing into the cause of that leak, the pipeline operating at reduced pressure as it moves 23 million gallons of crude oil from Canada each and every day. October auto sales in China dropped 6% from a year earlier. Demand for electric cars falling. The tariff war with the United States also causing many consumers in China to put off big purchases like a new car until some clarity is reached in the dealings with the U.S. Boeing is now hoping the FAA will approve the return of the company's grounded 737 MAX jetliners by early next year. Boeing projecting approval by January. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
I don't know why people keep sending me the best song. I've already told you what the best song is. Ron from Berwyn offers All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix, which is a great song.
Mm-hmm.
John Cass, did you know John Cass was a hillbilly?
What is he like?
He texted me a song called Tennessee Stud by Jimmy Driftwood. What the heck is going on with John Cass?
I'm going to have to download that one. Thanks, John Cass.
Dan Proft here. Gentlemen, November is Men's Health Month, a reminder to take care of your health. So Low T Center is now offering a $49 comprehensive health assessment and a $49 home sleep assessment to determine if you have sleep apnea. Low T Center's health assessment provides a complete screening, checking all your levels, including your prostate, cholesterol, testosterone, and more. Low T Center is not like a typical doctor's office where you have a long wait. I know because I've been there. They're concierge medicine exclusive. They are concierge medicine exclusively for men. So guys, make sure to make your health a priority this November. Low T Center will make it quick and easy. This November, be sure to schedule your $49 health assessment and $49 home sleep test. If you're a man over 30, do yourself a favor and schedule your health assessment at Low T Center today. It's even covered by most health insurance. My friends at Low T Center will verify your insurance for you as well. November is Men's Health Month. Call today to schedule your appointment. Tell them Dan Proft sent you when you do. 630-451-9352 is the number. That's 630-451-9352. You can also schedule online by visiting lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Famous conservative quotes presented by Automated Systems.
Winston Churchill wisely said, "The positive thinker sees the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible." What great advice for us all.
Manufacturing companies, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and systems integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet FDA compliance requirements. He's good with it, I am. Automated Systems will create a custom solution for your business that will make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. From Fortune 500 to startup, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844 HIREASI, 844 HIRE ASI, or online at hireasi.com.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Back in like January, February, I'd like get home, make myself something to eat, blah, blah, blah. My girlfriend works nights. By like 8:30, 8 o'clock, I'd be in bed. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if this is what the rest of life is like, I'm doomed. Today is day 14 of me taking Balance of Nature. My energy level's through the roof. It took me like 5 years of hearing it on talk radio to actually try it. The difference is night and day.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, if you're one of 34 million baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964 and either want to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to listen closely to this important information from Team Hochberg. According to CNBC, retirees will average $14,000 a year from Social Security, and 45% of baby boomers have nothing saved for retirement. You heard me, 45%. It's very scary. So Team Hochberg will help you save for retirement by paying off your debt with a cash-out refinance. Get all the information and about all the information, too, about a reverse mortgage by calling David Hochberg now, 855-56-DAVID, or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 855-56-DAVID, Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Our friend and DePaul philosophy professor Jason Hill joins us at 7:07 to discuss his open letter to one young Greta Thunberg.
But first, let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Chicago's setting records for snowfall and cold. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
He's lived longer than any other president. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. But at 95, Jimmy Carter is back in a hospital this morning needing surgery. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has a live update.
Dave, according to a statement from Emory University Hospital, former President Carter is resting comfortably. That surgery will be done to relieve pressure on his brain, which was caused by bleeding due to his recent falls. He has fallen at least 3 times this year, and the first of those required hip replacement surgery. The former president also fell on October 6th, which required stitches, and was hospitalized again after fracturing his pelvis October 21st. Dave.
Tanya, Palestinians are retaliating. Firing rockets into Israel. Some are being shot down by missile defense after
this assassination of a senior Islamic Jihad commander last night by the Israeli military. The Israelis say he was responsible for a series of rockets that had been fired into Israel just last week.
The commander's wife and 2 other militants have also been killed.
The Israelis are now pounding Gaza with airstrikes in an attempt to deter Islamic Jihad and Hamas from firing more rockets into southern Israel.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Gaza City. The Supreme Court will take up a big case this morning. DACA, considering President Trump's attempt to end the Obama-era program that shielded some immigrants brought here illegally as kids from deportation. One of those so-called dreamers, Hilario Yanez, told the Fox News Rundown podcast today,
whatever the decision that Supreme Court decides to do, I still think Congress needs to, take leadership on this and work with this president to find a permanent solution.
A Trump tweet called some DACA recipients far from angels, very tough, hardened criminals. The president also tweeted he will this week release the transcript of the first call he had with Ukraine's president back in April. He insists the much scrutinized July call was perfect and he did nothing wrong, but Democrats claim he violated his oath of office, asking Ukraine to investigate the 2016 election and Joe Biden, tying it to military aid, and public hearings in the impeachment inquiry start tomorrow. America's listening to Fox News.
.702 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. We have 7 degrees with a wind chill of 8 below on AM 560. The Answer, and the Chicago area coming off an historic day of weather. National Weather Service says officially 3.4 inches of snowfall, breaking the previous record set back in 1995. Chicago also saw temps drop to 8 degrees overnight, tying the city's old record for November 12th, set back in 1950. Yesterday brought more than 2 inches of snow to northwest Indiana, but even more blowing and drifting snow overnight and into this morning. Valerie Duncan with the Indiana Department of Transportation says they're ready to go, even with the slick conditions.
We've been preparing for this winter event really since the beginning of October, which is earlier than we have done in years past.
Now lakeshore flood warnings remain in effect along Lakeshore Drive until 4 this afternoon, with northwest winds topping out at 35 miles an hour. In other news this morning, a Chicago entertainer and rapper, Little Reese, is in critical condition, shot in Country Club Hills yesterday near 167th and Pulaski Road. The FAA continues to investigate after a plane slid off a runway at O'Hare. The incident happened yesterday when icy conditions caused the American Eagle flight from North Carolina to slide just after landing. There were no injuries. Danny Trevathan may have played his last game for the Bears. The team has to decide whether to put the inside linebacker on IR after suffering a bad left arm injury in Sunday's win over the Lions. Bulls host the Knicks tonight. College hoops last night. DePaul now 4-0. They knocked off Iowa 93-78. Tonight, Notre Dame hosting Howard and Loyola hosting Coppin State. The news service of Mattress Firm. At Mattress Firm, you can get early access to the Black Friday sale. Shop now and save up to $600 on a king bed for the price of a queen. Plus, take home a free adjustable base when you spend just $4.99. It is the best deal of the season at Mattress Firm. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher believes it's way too early to look at 2020.
We are 1 year out. My team gave me an article, some 9-page article, with election 1 year away. Here are the predictions of the winners and the losers. Sorry, guys, I threw it out. I don't care what the polls say right now about Trump beats Warren, but he doesn't beat Biden. We're a year out. Lord knows what these lunatics are going to try to do in the next 12 months.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315. That's 800-597-0315. 800-597-0315. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Hey everyone, Ken here. For 2 years now, you've heard Carrie and I use metaphors to test to see if you think your home or your business could use a revenue shot in the backside. Today, because of our new website, I can be a little bit more direct. Income Store has 2 doors. If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes apiece, that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, "Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue." If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
At Panera, get breakfast that's fast, not fast food. Try a new Chipotle chicken scrambled egg and avocado breakfast wrap and pair it with a premium freshly ground, freshly brewed coffee. All ready to go with the push of a button. Panera, food as it should be.
7:07 in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Let's get the latest on the roads with Jim Telemonte.
Eden's inbound delay started 2A. It's 28 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Inbound Kennedy. 45 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 19 from Montrose. 17 to the Express. About 47 minutes downtown at the airport. On Eisenhower, 51 minutes, 390 to downtown. It's 36 from Manheim, outbound 42 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan, 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 19 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 424. Northbound tri-state delays are from the Stevenson to 47, then from North Avenue to the Bensonville Bridge. Eastbound Reagan Tollway, it's heavy, 31 to 59. Northbound Veterans Memorial, 75th to St. Charles, and Army Trail to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A lakeshore flood advisory in effect this morning early. It'll be sunny, cold today, high 21. Increasing cloudiness, breezy, quite cold tonight, low dropping to 10. Cloudy, brisk, and cold tomorrow, the high 29. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
It is 8 degrees above at O'Hare with a wind chill of 7 below. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. 60-foot Greta staring down at the denizens of San Francisco. We started yesterday, still taking suggestions on a building where we could have a Greta mural looking down on us in Chicago. I mean, college campus seems like an obvious choice.
Right.
It doesn't have to be just one.
It could be at all.
Could be a Planned Parenthood clinic, mill. Yeah, that seems appropriate since they're going to save humanity by eliminating the humans.
Children.
Yeah.
Don't have children. If you do get pregnant, abort it because it'll help the environment. It'll help the climate.
This from the Babylon Bee, increasingly the paper of record since parody is impossible. A new mural in downtown San Francisco of Swedish teenage climate activist Greta Thunberg has a surprise for passersby. Her eyes are equipped with high-powered lasers designed to seek and destroy carbon-emitting SUVs on the streets below. That would be cool.
Oh.
That's not true because the Babylon Bee is a parody site, but that would be pretty cool. Maybe we could equip our mural in Chicago with those laser-sighted eyes that could destroy SUVs.
She needs to go back to Sweden and go to school because she's touring California right now. And if anyone needs schooling, I think it's her.
How dare you?
Well, it's true. How dare you?
My message is that we'll be watching you.
Yeah.
People are laughing. And
buildings
she's
in
crying.
San Francisco. Bend the knee, pros.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here.
You should be at school.
I should be back in school.
Yeah, go back
on
to
the
school.
other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
They love their ink sock there at the UN climate conference. Real-world example of what Greta is being used to promote and what her ilk are promoting, openly promoting, including this phony baloney 11,000 scientists tackled this yesterday. Not 11,000 scientists, it turns out. 11,000 random people who signed the conclusion of the scientists of a couple of scientists in favor of population control. The kind of population control that's been promoted before, fake academics like Paul Ehrlich, who's still at Stanford. Still at Stanford. And autocrats like Chinese communists who murdered millions of children over the 35 years of their one-child policy and continue to do so, not just with respect to Muslim minorities like the Uyghurs, who they're imprisoning and forcibly sterilizing, but also you'll recall that China's one-child policy, when it was stopped in 2015, was replaced with a two-child policy. So there's still caps. And those caps are ruthlessly enforced. You want to see a good documentary?
Yeah.
On this topic? I highly recommend One Child Nation. This is a documentary about the 35 years of the one-child policy in gripping and heart-wrenching detail, because the two documentarians go to China. They're Chinese origin. They go to China. They talk to the family planning officials in villages that were responsible for enforcing the communist diktats. They talk to a midwife who estimates that she sterilized or aborted 50 to 60,000 women and children. She talks about murdering babies born alive. She now, this one woman they talked to in their 80s, this midwife, she now provides gynecological services, but she doesn't provide family planning. She doesn't provide abortion. She will only help individuals who have fertility issues, to help them have children. And she's got flags of all the children that she's helped couples to have and that she's helped to deliver since she stopped doing what she was doing under the one-child policy. And everywhere you go, and all the people they talk to, they're so resigned to the horror of it, because what could we do? It was policy. What could we do? And this spawned trafficking in the excess girls. This is the way it's described: excess number of girls, one-child policy. The excess girls were taken from poor families, sold to orphanages. The government gets the cut. Orphanage turn around and work with adoption outfits to adopt Chinese children to foreign nationals. This is once China had allowed that to take place, and the costs were $10,000 to $30,000. There's actually in this documentary a couple in Utah, an American academic and his wife came over here from China. They've spent years trying to piece together, because all the stories about the origins of these children are lies, because they were abducted at the sanction of the government and sold, and then sold again. These two are trying to put together the records of all the hundreds of thousands of children taken from their homes so they can be reunited with their families, or at least know who their families are or were. It is, it's impossible to describe. Kurt Loder, by the way, formerly of MTV, you remember him.
Yeah.
He has a good review of it in Reason as well, but it's really difficult to describe. You have got to see this documentary, One Child Nation, and put it in the context of what you're hearing, not just from young Greta, who's just a front girl, little sister there, big sister, whichever you prefer, but AOC and the actual politicians, Comrade Bernie, who wants to export effectively mandatory abortion to Africa and elsewhere, the underdeveloped nations. He wants to institute what China did the world over. That's what he said at a town hall in response to a woman who asked for his support of population control. He's only too happy to provide it, excited to provide it. Watch One Child Nation and understand that this is the policy being promoted by the left. They're slow walking the same exact policy. And those who are treated the worst are the poorest. For more on young Greta, we're pleased to be joined by Jason Hill, professor of philosophy at DePaul University, author of the book We Have Overcome, an immigrant's open letter to America. And he's got another open letter, and this one's to Greta. Jason, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dan and Amy.
So you write in your piece, against the backdrop of your activism, I'm going to address you as an adult rather than a child, because, of course, so much any criticism of Greta has been received with, how dare you pick on a child. Yeah. So you sort of present why we're going to need to address her as an adult, because she's being treated like an adult by policymakers and the press corps. So I guess she needs to be addressed as adult. At least her ideas and her reviews need to. And so that's what you aim to do here. the key one or 2 points you would love young Greta to consider?
One is go back to school, Greta, because this deference to children that we are undertaking in our culture today is very, very dangerous. I want to say to Greta that you are right. We have failed you, but not in the way that you think we have. We bequeath to you an amazing capitalist, growth-driven, technological civilization, Greta, that has given you the chance to spout your invectives and your catastrophic, alarmist, climate-driven agenda, which is really an eco-fascist, socialist-driven agenda. That's what we've bequeathed to you. But this deference to children, this deference to everything, every sort of conceptual nonsense that comes out of the mouths of children, that adults are now clapping their hands to and saying, yeah, that's so great, you're so brilliant, this is the way in which we have failed you. Instead of granting you moral leadership, we have capitulated to every single conceptual inanity that comes out of your mouth. And the second point I want to I would like to make to her is that her descendants are likely to be 120 years, much longer than any of her ancestors, and that my generation that she chooses to damn is responsible for bequeathing to her, through science, through technology, again, through this growth-driven capitalism that she hates, is going to bequeath to her descendants a longevity of life, a higher health standard of living that is going to be unprecedented in human history. And she should really learn the facts before she opens her mouth.
Yeah, that's true. Well, what's her end game, and when is she going to go back to Sweden and go back to school, possibly? What does she want?
Well, I don't think this is the sad thing. I don't think there's going to be an end game. I think she's probably never going back to school because just follow the money and follow her I mean, I'm not her psychologist, and I won't get into this mean-spirited, notion of analyzing her psychology. Only her and her psychologist know what's going on in her mind. But I will say that follow the money, and there's too much money involved, and there's too much. And I agree with Dan that she's just probably a little pawn behind a grand global socialist movement that's being driven by a plethora of individuals who want to drive us towards not just eco-fascism globally, but more importantly, towards global socialism, to destroy world capitalism, to destroy markets, to destroy growth, take us back to the Dark Ages. I see her continuing, and I see her star rising if and until intellectuals, ordinary people, the common man and woman, stop again deferring to this child and wake up and put up a healthy, sound resistance, a clarion call to the nonsense, not that only she's spewing, but that these global climate alarmists are spewing and saying, wait a minute, why aren't all the scientists coming out with the same kind of hysteria? If 200 extinct species are dying every day, and notice she's named not one has she named. And many of us are voracious readers of the newspapers and of journals. Why aren't the scientists coming out with the same kind of vehemence and declaring with the same kind of impassioned desperation? If this were true, these are all shibboleths that that are being invented and shoved down her throat. So I don't think this is going to abate anytime soon. I think this issue is actually going to get worse because people are terrified of being seen as attacking a little girl. You see, they're really, really smart by putting her up, a 16-year-old girl from Sweden. Mm-hmm. Who's going to attack her? Who's going to critique her? Who's going to be seen as upsetting, upstreper's child?
Yeah.
Well, someone has to take her on.
Yeah, being afraid of children is the basis of some of our best horror movies. Assess what you actually see in front of you when you're parenting young Damien. Don't just do he's just a little girl, he's just a little boy. Of course, we've seen, unfortunately, young people, even people as certainly as young as Greta, do all kinds of horrible things. But one of the things I like in your piece, and I like generally from your work, is you take these cliches that are just accepted without thought, and you attach some consequences to them, implications of them. And there's a statement you make in your piece on this open letter to Greta that I want you to expound upon. Greta, living in complete harmony with nature is the death of creativity. Living in complete harmony with nature is the death of creativity. Living in complete harmony with nature, oh, that sounds so peaceful and tranquil and Thoreauian, Jason. Why is that the death of creativity?
Because, as I explained in the piece, I want anyone to ostensibly point to any civilization that has lived in complete harmony with nature, that has achieved anything that rivals our unprecedented, magnificent technological civilization, that can build skyscrapers, that can produce the science, that can produce underground sewer systems. It's only when we stray away from the mindset of animals that have to adapt themselves to nature, and we learn as human beings to adapt nature to ourselves, which means that we have to rapaciously, in the proper sense, exploit nature to meet our needs. When there's a drought, animals die from starvation. When there's a drought, human beings build dams. When there's a heat wave, animals swelter. When there's a heat wave, man builds air conditioning units. We learn to exploit the earth, which properly belongs to us, to adapt it to our needs, and we build civilizations. When you live in complete harmony with nature, you are like a beast. You are simply adapting yourself harmoniously with the systems, the ecosystems of nature, and you're not utilizing your capabilities, your rational faculty, to utilize the resources to meet the needs of your survival. You're living a range of the moment, concrete bound existence. And if people want to say, well, what about indigenous cultures? I'm not afraid to say it. Well, what about indigenous cultures? They had land for years. They had land with oil on it for years, and they did nothing with it. And it took technologically driven, or it took individuals with a different kind of mindset, really, who properly realized that nature was something that had, and I use the word deliberately, had to be properly, in the proper sense, exploited. Because it demands that you use your capabilities, it demands that you exercise your faculties in certain ways that go against nature. Inoculate yourself against, I would like Greta to go to the Amazon jungle without inoculating herself against any of the so-called,
right,
wonders of the jungles, and see if she would last even 5 hours. She would die of all kinds of infectious diseases. That's what I mean by not living harmoniously with nature. If we lived harmoniously with nature, most of the species would have met an early death, as most of them did meet an early death before the advancement of the technological revolution and the discovery of utilizing fossil fuel.
He is Jason Hill, professor of philosophy at DePaul University, author of the book We Have Overcome that you want to pick up, and his column, Open Letter to Greta Thunberg, at frontpagemag.com, which I'll tweet out as well at Dan Proft. Jason, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other carriers. If you're over 50 and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage every month whether you want it or not. In Chicago, the least expensive PPO health insurance plan under the ACA will cost $572 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $7,900 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium to $278 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $294 a month and over $5,000 with my lower deductible. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
All right, the holidays are right around the corner. If you want to get healthy, start now. And what you can do is start by taking Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. call the coaches, not operators, at this number, 800-246-8751. Of course, I'm talking about Balance of Nature. Dr. Howard was the creator and inventor of Balance of Nature, and what he did is in just 6 capsules of Balance of Nature, you get 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies. He compresses them, he puts them into capsules without using any dyes or preservatives. And you hear stories right here on the station about how people's lives have changed by taking a Balance of Nature. And guess what? The next story could be yours, but you have to order Balance of Nature today. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering 35% off and free shipping. So call the number, talk to the health coaches, the operators, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Be sure to use discount code Chicago or simply go online to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
Travel your way with the Apple Vacation Super Sale. With more destinations, more relaxation, and more fun, Apple Vacations puts affordable prices and unbeatable value right at your fingertips. It's all included: flights, hotel, meals, drinks, and ground transportation in one convenient package price. With up to 60% off and instant savings up to $600 at participating resorts. 24-hour all-inclusive Rio hotels and resorts offer personalized service on beautiful beachfront settings throughout Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central America. Whether you're a sun worshiper or a thrill seeker, enjoy endless activities including themed Rio parties and the on-site water park, Splash Water World. Call Carey Travel Express at 847-639-3300 or visit careytravelexpress.com to book your Apple vacation today. Savings valid at participating resorts on select dates from January through April 2020. Restrictions apply.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Limu, when we're not telling people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, I've actually been moonlighting as a DJ. Check it! Here's the good part! Liberty, 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 liberty. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Napa know-how. Right now, only at Napa, AAA members get a 20% discount. So you can avoid getting stranded on the side of the road by picking up some quality parts like batteries, brake pads, and more. Meaning you can prevent the problem before it ever becomes a problem. Bravo! That's 20% off for AAA members. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Exclusions apply. May not be combined with other offers. Offer ends 11/30/19.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I just want to give a quick shout out to the anti-Morgan Spurlock. Remember the guy who did the Supersize documentary?
Oh, yeah.
Ate McDonald's
and for every day for 30
days and how much weight to get.
He supersized it.
Jessica Dotson from Talladega, Alabama.
Talladega Nights. I like my Jesus, baby Jesus.
There you go. I also did the story for that. Revealed how she lost more than 90 pounds without giving up her favorite foods. Portion control.
Oh, yeah.
She went from the 20-piece chicken McNuggets at McDonald's to the 6-piecer. Did the 6-piecer, did the 16-8 diet, eat during an 8-hour window, fast the other 16 hours?
Yeah.
Knocked off 90 pounds. So you go ahead and have your McNuggets. 6, not 20.
Why thought they come in packs of 4 or 10?
Well, obviously you're not a McNugget aficionado like me and Miss Jessica.
Your girl Jessie. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk impeachment theater and the Vindman problem that Democrats may have as public hearings begin tomorrow with John Hinderaker from PowerlineBlog.com, 737.
And at 8:38, the Mooch, Anthony Scaramucci, is going to be here. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
8 degrees, a wind chill of 8 below. Historic day of weather yesterday. We saw temps drop to 8 degrees overnight. That ties the city's old low record. Meantime, the National Weather Service says there was 3.4 inches of snowfall in the city yesterday. President Trump's decision to end the DACA program goes before the Supreme Court today. President tweeting about DACA this morning, claiming many in the program are far from angels. This immigrant is in the program and will be at court today.
My biggest message right now is to let everybody that is watching us that, without DACA, so many opportunities will not be there.
The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program protects more than 700,000 from deportation. Protesters in Hong Kong blocked roads and brought the city's central business district to a virtual standstill. Flames of Tuesday's protests were fanned in part by yesterday's shooting of a demonstrator by police. Dozens of rockets fired from Gaza into southern Israel today after Israeli airstrikes killed a senior Islamic Jihad leader earlier in the day. NBC's Richard Engel is on the front lines.
That could happen, especially if one of those rockets hits the Tel Aviv airport, hits Jerusalem, or hits a site causing many Israeli casualties.
Engel saying no one, according to Israeli officials, want this to escalate into a full-blown war. Islamic Jihad responded by firing 50 rockets. Israeli Defense Forces say its Iron Dome aerial defense system intercepted about 20 of those rockets. Chicago rapper Lil Reese is in critical condition. Police investigators say he was shot in Country Club Hills yesterday near 167th and Pulaski. No arrests have been made in that case. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is in Springfield today. The mayor hoping to make a deal with lawmakers in order to try to make a proposed Chicago casino more attractive. The news service of Panera Bread. At Panera, get breakfast that's fast, not fast food. Try a new Chipotle chicken scrambled egg and avocado breakfast wrap. Pair it with a premium freshly ground, freshly brewed coffee, all ready to go with the push of a button. Panera, food as it should be. 7:34 in a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, how would you like to have your mortgage or rent paid for an entire year? Would that qualify as a Christmas miracle?
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, you betcha. So it could happen if you enter to win our Christmas Mortgage Miracle contest, presented by AM Woodland Outdoor Design from now through December 20th. But you can only win if you enter. And to do that, go to 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword miracle. That's 560theanswer.com, keyword miracle, to enter for a chance to have your mortgage or rent paid for all of 2020.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher here. You've heard me talk for years about all the problems I have with trying to eat right. I have formed a partnership with an amazing American success story, Seattle Sutton's Healthy Eating. They've been shipping me delicious portion-controlled meals. They're fresh. They're never frozen. Seattle Sutton's Healthy Eating, operated by a wonderful dietitian nutritionist. It's like having my own personal chef. And it's saving me a lot of time shopping and stopping off for food. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Over 90 million meals have been served the past 33 years by Seattle Sutton's Healthy Eating. No gimmicks, no fads, no BS. Just delicious, clean, healthy meals shipped directly to your home twice a week. Contact them today and get started. Tell them Mike Gallagher sent you and you'll get a special discount. Call Seattle Sutton's Healthy Eating, 800-442-3438. Call 800-442-3438 or go to seattlesutton.com. That's seattlesutton.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-600-5451. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-600-5451. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-600-5451. 1-800-600-5451.
7:36 AM 560 Traffic Center time, and Jim Telemonti.
Inbound Kennedy traffic now jammed. Canfield to the Burn Circle. It is an hour and 3 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 20 minutes from Montrose. 17 on the Express. About 47 minutes to the airport. Edens, 28 minutes, Lake Cook Junction. Eisenhower, 55 minutes, 390 to downtown. 38 from Manheim. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to the drive. The Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 28 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Northbound tri-state delays are 95th to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway 4, it's eastbound Adams Tollway, 25 to Roselle and lead to the tri-state. Reagan Tollway 31 to 355. Northbound Veterans Memorial delays start at I-55. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny and cold today. High of 21. Currently 7 degrees at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. Every Saturday morning at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
No Victocrats allowed. Why? Because we've got a country to save. Join me, Larry Elder, tonight starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Nikki Haley sat down for an interview with CBS News over the weekend.
CBS Sunday morning it was.
I think we have her on the show tomorrow.
Oh, I can't wait.
There's always tomorrow. It's only
Yeah,
a
she
day
has
away.
a new book, but there's one thing that everyone's talking about.
8 o'clock tomorrow. She'll be on 8 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. And then I'm actually going to MC her appearance at North Central College a week from tomorrow on the 20th. She's doing a book signing there. So perhaps I'll be pilloried by the North Central College.
They're not letting you in.
Undergrads, like I'm sure Nikki Haley will be too if they're let in. Nikki Haley saying this about her time in the White House. She had some comments about impeachment, but of course her comments about Tillerson and former Chief of Staff General Kelly are the ones that made some news.
Haley recounts a closed-door encounter with then White House Chief of Staff John Kelly and then Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Kelly and Tillerson confided in me that when they resisted the president, they weren't being insubordinate, they were trying to save the country. And then the Secretary of State Tillerson went on to tell you the reason he resisted the president's decisions was because if he didn't, people would die. Do you memorialize that conversation? It definitely happened?
It absolutely happened. And instead of saying that to me, they should have been saying that to the president, not asking me to join them on their sidebar plan. It should have been, go tell the president what your differences are and quit if you don't like what he's doing. But to undermine a president is really a very dangerous thing. And it goes against the Constitution, and it goes against what the American people want. And it was offensive.
We asked them to respond. John Kelly tells Sunday Morning, if by resistance and stalling she means putting a staff process in place to ensure the president knew all the pros and cons of what policy decision he might be contemplating so he could make an informed decision, then guilty as charged.
Yeah. Oh.
And Rex Tillerson came out yesterday saying, during my service to our country as a Secretary of State, at no time did I nor my direct knowledge did anyone else serving along with me take any actions to undermine the president.
Yeah, it's eye of the beholder type of characterization. But here's the thing about John Kelly's statement about just putting in processes to make sure the president had the most complete knowledge available.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably true, and I'm sure John Kelly brought some order and processes to the White House. I don't begrudge him that, but I don't think Nikki Haley's a sophisticated person. I don't think she would be confused between what she's describing and what John Kelly's describing. Nikki Haley also had some things to say in defense of the president as it pertains to the impeachment theater that
it's going to start tomorrow.
Second act tomorrow with the public hearings.
No, on what? You're going to impeach a president for asking for a favor that didn't happen and giving money and it wasn't withheld? I don't know what you would impeach him on. I mean, look, Nora, impeachment is like the death penalty for a public official. When you look at the transcript, there's nothing in that transcript that warrants the death penalty for the president. And I think that...
To be clear, it was not a complete transcript. There are still things that are missing from it. And in that, he does say, I would like you to do us a favor, though.
The Ukrainians never did the investigation, and the president released the funds. I mean, when you look at those, There's just nothing impeachable there. And more than that, I think the biggest thing that bothers me is the American people should decide this. Why do we have a bunch of people in Congress making this decision?
Nora O'Donnell, CBS News, boy, they are really trying. I mean, Jake Tapper told Ron Johnson that a call between Ron Johnson, the President of the United States, that he was describing was a lie. Well,
he wasn't on the call.
Tapper's on the call. Ron Johnson's relaying what they talked about, what the President said. He says he's lying. Okay. Nora O'Donnell saying there's still things left out of the transcript of that call, and she's referencing reports by irresponsible news agencies like hers last week that Lieutenant Colonel Vindman's behind closed doors testimony, he said he pushed for things to be included in the transcript that were omitted. So there's some sort of the implication is there's some sort of cover up going on, that the transcript released to the public edited out important details.
Well, didn't he claim that they didn't say Biden enough? And that Biden was spoken of more at times than were released in the transcript.
Who cares? Because here's what he actually claimed in the transcript of his testimony. You don't think there was any malicious intent to specifically not add those edits you wanted added? Asked Republican counsel Steve Castor. Vindman, I don't think so. Castor, so otherwise this record is complete, and I think you used the term very accurate, quote unquote. Yes, said Vindman. The record is complete. The transcript is very accurate. So no, Nora, there isn't anything material missing. And your source that you whose testimony you misrepresented, as did other news agencies, says so. So that's the backdrop of the circus that moves to a bigger tent tomorrow. We're pleased to be joined again by our friend John Hinderaker, president of the Center for the American Experiment. And also one of the founders of PowerlineBlog.com, which, again, is a must-read daily. John, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning.
Morning. So what's your assessment of how the Republicans have played this leading up to tomorrow with the announcement of the witnesses they would like to call, that they should be allowed to call, because of course, they can only suggest witnesses, and then Adam Schiff and his star chamber will decide whether or not they will actually appear or not, or be subpoenaed to appear or not. But the Republicans, in terms of the jujitsu moves, saying Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Adam Schiff, the whistleblower, pressing on the ability to call witnesses and question them in a way that they weren't allowed to behind closed doors. Have they played this about right in terms of making sure the American people understand that the process has been stilted to this juncture?
Well, I think they're playing it okay. You know, my view tends to be that the Republicans in Congress are not aggressive enough. That's true about 99% of the time, in my view. But, you know, the point that needs to be made much more often and much more strongly is that investigating corruption in the Obama-Biden administration was a good idea. It was good for President Trump to want to investigate that corruption and to want Ukrainians to help in investigating corruption in the Obama-Biden administration. I think we know for a fact that Burisma paid the Biden family a $3 million bribe at a time when Joe Biden was in charge of Ukraine policy for the Obama administration. They paid Hunter Biden $3 million to serve on their board of directors, which is a position that normally is compensated only nominally. They paid him $83,000 a month.
And he didn't
even
live
though
there, right?
Hunter Biden doesn't speak Ukrainian, had no experience in Ukrainian business, no experience in the natural gas industry. That's obviously a bribe being paid to the Biden family. And we know for a fact that Burisma's lobbyists used Hunter Biden's name to get a high-level meeting in the State Department in February of 2016. So corruption in the Obama-Biden administration was real, and it very much deserves to be investigated.
But is that bribe a crime?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's a crime or not. I mean, there are two places it could be a crime. It could be a crime in Ukraine. It could be a crime in the United States. But here's an important point. Nobody who bribes an office holder is stupid enough to write the check to the office holder. That's not how it's done.
Yeah.
You write the check to a family member, and you do it in exchange, allegedly, in exchange for services, which are, in fact, either non-existent or nominal. And that's what happened here. This is the standard way of paying a bribe. You pay it to a family member, and you do that because it makes it harder to prosecute as a crime. But that doesn't mean it's not corruption, and that doesn't mean it shouldn't be investigated.
There's also another note here, just in terms of corruption in Ukraine. There's an actual treaty between the United States and Ukraine which obligates the leaders of both countries to cooperate fully and together on investigations of corruption, particularly criminal matters and corruption that involve both countries. So, so this is what Trump invoked, and so now he's going to be impeached for invoking a matter that is covered by a treaty Congress authorized.
Well, somebody's got to explain at some point, what in the heck is the impeachable offense? You guys have been talking about this, but the impeachable offense apparently was something that happened in Trump's mind, where he wanted Ukraine to help with the investigation of Obama-Biden corruption, and for a period of days or weeks put a temporary hold on military aid to Ukraine. But after a matter of days or weeks, he released the aid. The Ukrainians never did announce an investigation or carry out an investigation. So what's the point?
Well, the point is that he's a bad man and he shouldn't be the president, I guess.
I mean, if he should be impeached for putting a hold on military assistance to Ukraine for a period of, 3 weeks maybe, something like that? I haven't seen the exact dates. Something like that. How about President Obama? Obama, over a period of years, never did supply Ukraine with military aid because he was in the pockets of Vladimir Putin. If Trump should be impeached, Obama should be drawn and quartered.
Well, do you think Hunter Biden should be called or subpoenaed to testify?
Absolutely. I think we need to hear from Hunter Biden. He's already given a couple of interviews about this, and one interview that he gave to one of the networks, I forget which one, he was asked, do you think he would have gotten this $3 million if your last name hadn't been Biden? And he said, oh, probably not.
Well, the other thing here, too, is I mean, an illegitimate process cannot produce a legitimate result. In other words, if we were not this is not quite the same thing because Trump hasn't been charged with a crime, but the principles are the same. The due process principles that undergird a free society are the same. The idea of, and Jim Jordan made this point last week, a week ago Thursday, when the resolution was passed. I'm just coming back from an impeachment deposition to vote on a resolution regarding the rules of the impeachment. Don't we sort of have that backwards? We're running ahead to get to the conclusion that Adam Schiff wants, and then we're going to backtrack and set up the rules that give it the air of legitimacy. Eric Swalwell was on Face the Nation this weekend, and one of the rationales Schiff and the Democrats have given for doing it behind closed doors first, because we don't want witnesses to coordinate their testimony. We don't want them to know what was done. Well, so then they leak on purpose, right? And then secondly, Swalwell says, for the most part, witnesses haven't been able to coordinate testimony. For the most part, this is an officer of the court. This guy is a local prosecutor in California. For the most part, this is how the grand jury proceeding went. Is that how he would do it in a court of law? Of course not. He'd be laughed out of court.
Oh, please. I mean, first of all of these witnesses, I assume, we know this is true of the so-called whistleblower, but I assume all of these witnesses have been meeting with Democratic Party committee staff before they testify. That's when the testimony gets arranged. The witnesses don't have to talk to each other. That's not how it's done. They meet with Democratic Party staffers, and the staffers help them to fashion their testimony.
Which is why Schiff should be called.
Well, yeah, there's another reason why Schiff should be called, and that is that he is the worst possible spokesman for the Democratic Party. The idea that the best guy they could come up with to be the public face of this impeachment proceeding is Adam Schiff tells you a lot about the current state of the Democratic Party.
Do you think that the hyper-protectiveness of the so-called whistleblower is not just to sort of give the whistleblower gravitas that the substance of his claim lacks, but it's also to protect him from whistleblowers. In other words, that this guy who is identified and it hasn't been refuted by Paul Sperry and RealClearInvestigations.com had been working inside the White House, possibly with lead investigators at the FBI. The suggestion's been made, possibly Strzok and Page, and that the whistleblower protections, we're not going to call him to testify, we don't need him to testify, don't ever utter his name, is all about sort of shoring up some of the skullduggery that was afoot prior to all of this coming to a fore?
Well, that's a plausible supposition. I mean, the so-called whistleblower, the whole thing is so ridiculous because he had no firsthand information. Everything he put in that report was rumor and hearsay. And we now have the transcript of the call, which is the best evidence of the call we're ever going to get. I think Trump threw a real monkey wrench into the spokes when he immediately released that transcript. I don't think the Democrats were expecting that. And so we're left with this whistleblower, so-called, who has no relevant information. I mean, that to me, that would be the best reason not to call him. He's literally got nothing to say. But I think you're right that the Democrats likely want to keep him under wraps because we know that he was meeting with Adam Schiff or Adam Schiff's staff, and he has this whole history, worked in the White House and so on. And I think, one thing we've learned from this proceeding is that the deep state exists. The deep state is not a right-wing conspiracy theory. The deep state is real, and increasingly members of the deep state are coming out of the closet and saying, yeah, I did try to foil the duly elected president of the United States because as an unelected bureaucrat, that's my job. And I think that the so-called whistleblower is probably one more example of that phenomenon.
Well, right, and so what's the repositioning, the pivot from some deep state operators has been, the deep state exists, and you should thank God for it.
Exactly.
So at least they're conceding the underlying point, as you mentioned.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And to tell the truth, it's been obvious for a long time that one of the problems with being a Republican president is that you only get to a point, I think it's the top 3 levels of the federal bureaucracy. Everything below that, and this is just a handful of people, everything below that is part of the permanent staff, which is about 95% Democrat. And it's very difficult for Republican presidents to get these agencies to actually implement Republican policies. And what we're seeing in the Trump administration is that historic problem being taken to a new level. Because it's not just that he has a problem getting the State Department or the EPA or whoever to carry out his policies, or the Department of Justice. They are actively trying to drive him out of office. And I think, I think seeing this spectacle is eye-opening to a lot of Americans.
Another good argument for smaller government. John Hinraker, president of the Center for the American Experiment, founder, contributor, powerlineblog.com. John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Lake County Right to Life is looking for like-minded people to help save lives, to support women, mothers and fathers, unborn babies, families, and the elderly. Can you help? Lake County Right to Life takes an active part in both the educational and lobbying aspects of the Right to Life movement. They recognize the need to become actively involved in electing pro-life, pro-family legislators, and formed the Lake County PAC to elect local Lake County candidates who support life-affirming legislation on your behalf. Legislation that saves thousands of lives and doesn't impose on you, the taxpayer, for the lesser good. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but it takes all of us working together to accomplish a society that celebrates life and protects our most vulnerable. For donations or information about educating the public concerning current life issues and legislations, go to the Lake County Right to Life website, lcrtl.org. That's lcrtl.org. You can also follow Lake County Right to Life on Facebook.
Dan Proft here. Gentlemen, November is Men's Health Month. A reminder to take care of your health. So Low T Center is now offering a $49 comprehensive health assessment and a $49 Hope Home Sleep Assessment to determine if you have sleep apnea. Low T Center's health assessment provides a complete screening, checking all your levels, including your prostate, cholesterol, testosterone, and more. Low T Center is not like a typical doctor's office where you have a long wait. I know, I've been there. They're concierge medicine exclusively for men. Guys, make sure you make your health a priority. Low T Center will make it quick and easy. This November, be sure to schedule your $49 health assessment and $49 home sleep test. If you're a man over 30, do yourself a favor and schedule your health assessment at Low T Center today. It's even covered by most health insurance. My friends at Low T will verify that insurance for you. November is Men's Health Month. Call today to schedule your appointment and tell them Dan Prof sent you when you do. 630-451-9352 is the number. That's 630-451-9352. You can also schedule online by visiting lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Your product is absolutely amazing. I can't tell you how my life has been changed so completely. I'm just at a loss to describe. I don't know how I could ever tell Dr. Howard and Susan, his dear wife, how much I deeply appreciate all the work they put into this magnificent product. I mean, there's so many things that have improved, and I'm only just beginning.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
You've heard Remke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Remke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Remke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Remke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Remke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to remkesgarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Remkes, R-E-M-K-E-S, garage.com.
They camped outside the Supreme Court. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Some so-called dreamers awaiting a hearing this morning into President Trump's attempt to end the Obama-era DACA program, protecting hundreds of thousands of immigrants brought here illegally as kids.
The Trump administration argues DACA is not working and is unlawful. Opponents say the administration has not properly explained doing away with DACA, and without the program, participants would lose access to work.
Fox's Jared Halpern. President Trump tweeted that some DACA recipients are hardened criminals. And the day before public impeachment hearings begin, the president tweeted about Ukraine again. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
President Trump writing, I will be releasing the transcript of the first and therefore more important phone call with the Ukrainian president before week's end. That call has been described to Fox News as a congratulatory call and rather innocuous in terms of substance. The April call preceded the July 25th phone conversation during which President Trump asked President Zelensky to pursue investigations into the 2016 hack of the DNC server, as well as former Vice President Biden and his son's business dealings in Ukraine. Dave?
John, former President Jimmy Carter's in a Georgia hospital for surgery this morning to relieve pressure on his brain caused by bleeding from recent falls. Carter's 95, has lived longer than any other president. Israelis and Palestinians keep firing at each other the day after Israel killed an Islamic Jihad commander, saying he's responsible for attacks and was plotting more. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I want to clarify, Israel is not interested in an escalation, but we will do everything necessary to defend ourselves.
It's like winter in November. After a snowstorm in the Midwest, there are single-digit temperatures from the Dakotas to Michigan.
Could be a long winter, but, I think folks here in this part of the Midwest are definitely used to this kind of weather.
He's in Wisconsin. It could snow from Maine down to Tennessee. Parts of Texas could get icy. America's listening to Fox News.
Sunshine and 8 degrees above at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott, here with the stories we are following on WIND Chicago. An historic day of weather. The National Weather Service said yesterday 3.4 inches officially of snow fell yesterday. And overnight, Chicago saw temps drop to 7 degrees. That breaks the city's old record of 8 set back on November 12th of 1986. A Chicago rapper and entertainer is in critical condition this morning, shot in Country Club Hills. Police say the officers responding to a shooting found the rapper Little Reese near 167th and Pulaski, where found a vehicle that he had been in with fresh blood in the driver's seat and on the ground next to the door. Officers then searched nearby hospitals and found a man who had been shot in the neck, identified as Tavares Taylor, or Little Reese. No arrests have been made. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is in Springfield today. The mayor hoping to make a deal with lawmakers in order to make a proposed Chicago casino more attractive to potential developers. Social media is abuzz with what appeared to be a meteor streaking across the sky in southern Illinois last night. Hit the St. Louis area as well. The bright lights accompanied by what many describe as a loud boom. A number of videos of the apparent meteor have been posted online. Bulls hosting the Knicks later on tonight. College hoops, DePaul knocks off Iowa in 93-78. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs. And now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Deirdre Bolton, and this is the Fox Business Report.
A major dairy company serving most of the U.S. has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Dean Foods says it's working toward an orderly sale of the company. In addition to the Dean's brand, it sells products under the Land O'Lakes Milk, Meadowbrook, Tuscan, Barbara's Dairy brands, and also makes other products, including Friendly's ice cream. It's in negotiations to sell the business to the Dairy Farmers of America, a national milk marketing cooperative. Not as many car buyers are picking Nissan models. Nissan is lowering its forecast for the current year, citing weak demand, including in the U.S. Amazon is getting ready to open another type of grocery store separate from Whole Foods. CNET says the first supermarket will be in the Woodland Hills neighborhood of Los Angeles. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosolda. Invested in you.
It's 8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder explains the bias from the left.
48% believe the president should be removed from office. 56% disapprove of FBI Director James Comey's recommendation not to charge Clinton. The point is, more Americans felt Hillary should have been charged than feel President Trump should be impeached and removed. Did you give a rip? Did you care about popular opinion then, Democrats? Media?
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Risk. How much are you willing to take with your business's computer and network system? Did you know, as of January 14th, 2020, Windows 7 will no longer be supported by Microsoft? That means no more security patches, no more updates, creating a huge security threat for your business if you don't have Windows 10 safely installed on your computers. Turnkey IT can help. If you've waited to update your network and computers to Windows 10, there's still time, but not much. Contact Turnkey IT as soon as possible to help make a smooth transition and not be vulnerable to security risks and viruses that will be able to attack your old Windows installations. Turnkey can also make sure all your hardware is up to the task of the more powerful Windows 10 operating system. And for a limited time, trade in your old Windows 7 PC and get $100 towards the purchase of a new Windows 10 Pro PC. The time to act is now. Support for Windows 7 is ending.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a SelectQuote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315.
That's 800-597-0315. 800-597-0315. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
8:07 AM 560 Traffic Center time with Jim Telemonte.
Inbound Eisenhower traffic is heavy from 390 to Addison Road. Then from Manheim most of the way in. It's 58 minutes, 390 to downtown, 40 from Manheim. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook to the Junction. Kennedy, an hour and 3 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 20 minutes from Montrose, 17 on the Express. The Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound tri-state delays are from 115th and Ridgeland to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence, southbound from Washington to Bradley. But Adams Tollway delays 25 to Roselle and Lee to the tri-state. Reagan Tollway Randall to Yackley. Found Veterans of Oil, heavy starting at I-55. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, meteorologist Steve Williams.
A lakeshore flood advisory in effect this morning. Sunny, cold day today, high 21. It'll be breezy and cold tonight with increasing cloudiness, low down to 10. Clouds brisk, a very cold day tomorrow with a high of 29. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
It is 8 with a wind chill of -9 at O'Hare. It is 4 above with a wind chill of -11 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I have another movie recommendation for you. I recommended the documentary One Child Nation earlier in the show. There's another movie that's out called Miss Virginia, and it's about the heroine, really, of the Opportunity Scholarship Program that was installed in Washington, D.C. about 15 years ago, bringing school choice to D.C. to mostly minority kids, mostly black kids, who were otherwise relegated to schools that were failing them just as they had failed generations before them. The same story we have in Chicago, and that was the backdrop of us here in Illinois getting the tax credit scholarship program passed under the previous gubernatorial administration with an interesting coalition of support, including from minority legislators, including from Democrats here. Tax credit scholarships that last year provided upwards of 7,000 scholarships to kids across Illinois, mostly minority kids, but not exclusively, and will provide many more as more money is raised to fund these scholarships for kids and families that want better options for the education of their children. This movie, Miss Virginia, though, is really interesting because the tax credit scholarship piece came from coalition building by political operatives with some politician support, some financier support, because school choice had been established thanks to the work of people like Polly Williams in Milwaukee 25 years ago, and thanks to people like Virginia Walden Ford in D.C., who provided, to some extent, the model, but also the belief that it could actually happen even in areas that are controlled by teachers' unions and disinclined to be supportive of school choice and the weakening of their grip on public school systems. Miss Virginia is a movie you have to see. And we're honored to have Virginia Walden Ford, who is the basis of the movie. She is Miss Virginia, founder and former executive director of D.C. Parents for School Choice, founder of the Black Alliance for Educational Options, author of School Choice, A Legacy to Keep, And again, Miss Virginia is available now on iTunes and Amazon. Download it and see it and share it with your friends and kids. Virginia Walden Ford, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
If we could just do the backstory on the DC Opportunity Scholarship Program, and your activism. As I mentioned, you were not a political activist. You weren't in the political realm. You were a single mom trying to get your son into a better school, and that was sort of thrust upon you. And I just because this is a triumph sort of one individual's leadership, bringing a bunch of individuals together. I just want people to understand your story.
Well, I had a 14-year-old, almost 15-year-old son who was really having a difficult time in school. And teachers gave up on him. Everybody gave up on him. And I knew that with a better opportunity, a better environment, a school that worked for him, he would be successful. And so I started speaking out at board meetings and other places. But what I found was that, people really weren't interested in hearing what I had to say. And eventually, somebody offered us a private scholarship for him to go to a school, and I saw how much it changed his life. I mean, it was amazing to see him go from a kid that didn't want to go to school and who would leave school when I drop him off to a child that was really interested in learning and all those kinds of, successes that kids often have when they're in better environments. Well, I watched him, and I watched him do well, but all around my community, there were other children that weren't doing well. And I believed that somebody had to speak out on behalf of those families, and that's kind of how I got into it. I started speaking out with groups of parents and talking about what we needed for our kids and how our kids' needs were not being met at DC public schools. And a member of Congress heard me, and it just spiraled. I found myself speaking lots of places reluctantly, and but for the kids, and as shy as I was or as not equipped to do this, when it came time to speak out for the kids, the words came.
With respect to your son, just back to him for a second, because in the movie he's portrayed as having this sort of inert artistic talent that when a bit underdeveloped in the public school, but then he, as you said, he started enjoying school again, and that artistic talent flourished. Is that accurate? Is that one of the aptitudes your son has?
Absolutely. I mean, this was a child that did a mural on his bedroom wall, so he was really excited about art, but he also learned that he was excited not just about art, but about learning. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing that was awesome to me. This was a kid that, he would draw, and he was a really good artist, but what else did we see, or what else did others see? And what we saw was a child that was really bright and capable and could do more than just draw. And even though he was very successful in art. But, it's the kinds of things that we never notice about our children, or schools never notice about our children. What are their abilities, and how can we, make those abilities be something that's successful for them?
And how's your son doing today?
Oh, he's an amazing man. He just bought his first house. He's 36, and he is just an incredible man. But the kids that were around him didn't make it, so it's even more exciting to watch him be doing so well in life. And but it's sad thinking about the children that didn't make it, because it took years to fight for the scholarship program to be implemented, or to be passed and implemented. And so, by the time we did get it going in 2004, we was an adult. So the kids around him that didn't benefit from the scholarship program, it left sad stories.
That one of the scenes in the movie, Miss Virginia, where you're speaking. I think it's either at a school board meeting or it's at a town hall, including the congressman that you're working for at the time, at least in the movie. And it's just this idea of not being patient, and I mean in a good way. And we hear this all the time in Chicago and elsewhere too. Is hey, we're working on it. We're working on it. Well, you know what? Basically, you said in the movie, your character says, hey, my kid is 14, 15, 16 years old once. You don't get to come back to him 20 years from now and say, hey, we figured it out. So if you can't figure it out now, then I want to go take my son somewhere that where they have figured it out. And that's a pretty simple argument.
Absolutely, and that was the argument I was hearing from parents. The schools were saying, oh, be patient. It'll come. We're working on it. We're going to fix it. But our kids needed it right then. They couldn't wait 3 more years. And as it was, by the time William finished high school, the program was just beginning to get enacted. So it was a long time of worrying about him and trying to make sure that he was in the right educational environment. But parents told me constantly they felt hopeless and helpless, and nobody was doing anything right now, and they were losing their kids.
And how many, when it's all said and done, how many opportunity scholarships have helped how many students to date?
In the 15 years that this program has been going on, there's been over 10,000 children that have benefited from the scholarship program. So, which is an amazing number to me. I mean, when we started doing this fight, we were fighting for about 100 kids, because that's how many parents were involved, and we were fighting for our children. Never would we thought that it would have done so well, and we hoped it would. We knew that putting kids in educational environments that worked for them, it was part of the answer. But to celebrate over 10,000 children having been a part of this program was wonderful. That's the reward an activist gets for fighting.
And former mayor of D.C., Anthony Williams, who's a supporter of the program, he made the point just a couple of years ago, I think last data that's available, the scholarship participating schools in D.C. had a graduation rate of 98% compared to 69% for the D.C. public schools. So that's pretty substantial difference, at least according to that metric.
Oh, it is. I mean, it was amazing to get those first, that research, seeing exactly how our kids were doing. And it was an incredible blessing, because these children that were the early participants of the scholarship program and current participants were from communities where kids just didn't graduate. I think at the time we were fighting, the dropout rate was somewhere around 47%, and they were accustomed to going a certain way in school and then dropping out, because they didn't feel like anybody cared about them anyway. So, and I hear this from the students, they didn't care, so why continue?
In the movie, there's a congressman played by Matthew Modine named Cliff Williams. Now, this is a fictional character, but he is a proponent in the movie of school choice, even though he doesn't think you have a snowball's chance in hell of getting school choice in D.C. I wonder if there was there a particular public official, politician, or group of politicians that really made the difference, both at the beginning and then culminating with the passage and signature by President Bush into law?
Absolutely, there were a number of amazing members of Congress in the House and in the Senate that supported us and that stood for us, and he's kind of a combination of all of those people. Right. Occasionally, when I'm watching a movie, I can see one person or I can see the other person in his performance. So it's kind of cool to watch. But there were many members of Congress that rallied around us and believed what we had to say. It was absolutely incredible.
I mean, I got to ask this because I think this comes through, and it comes through in a nice way in the movie. It's subtle. It doesn't beat you over the head. But the issue of race, the composite congressman is white, and he's a school choice proponent because he believes it'll help, but he also is sort of fatalistic because he doesn't think that you can get minority congressmen to support it, minority families to support it. It's a sort of an abstraction for him, even though it's very real to you and other families. And I noted Polly Williams, who was a black alderman in Milwaukee back 25 years ago, was key to moving school choice in Milwaukee. And obviously you were key to doing it in D.C. black families in Cleveland and other communities. Is it something where in urban centers you have to have black and Latino families lead, and then white suburban or exurban politicians follow? Is that the model?
Yeah, well, I think during 15 years ago that we were thinking those are the kids that are hurt the most, in affluent communities, and which are often white communities. Parents can move to schools, they can pay for private schools, but in low-income communities, which are often predominantly, in urban centers at least, often predominantly black or Latino, our families couldn't do that. So I think the initial thought was that we have to serve the neediest, the children that need us most. But I think as time has gone by, I'm in Arkansas, and 70% of kids that need help in Arkansas are white, or rural kids.
Yeah.
So I think over time we've come to realize that we need to fight for all of America's children, not just black kids, not just Latino kids, but all kids. And actually, in our fight, we had all kids. We had poor white kids, we had poor black kids, we had Asian kids who were living in public housing. Our position, even at that time, was, even though we're African American mothers primarily who were in the initial fight, we fight for every child, and I think it's gotten even more, people are expressing it even more, that we have to fight for America's kids, and America's kids are not just black and Latino, they're all kids.
It's about resources, not race.
Right. It is, absolutely. And, when parents can't afford to send their kids, no matter what color they are, they still have the same desires. I've traveled the country talking to parents. I've been really blessed to be able to do that. And when I go to Iowa, I close my eyes and I listen to parents. I don't know what race they are. I mean, they're every parent, And so that's the thing that I think that we've learned over years, that we have to fight for every child. But the early programs were means tested. They were primarily directed to African-American kids, for the most part, and Latino kids in communities that were not being served well.
She is Virginia Walden Ford, Miss Virginia, as she will be forever known thanks to this movie in part. Founder and former executive director of DC Parents for School Choice, founder of Black Alliance for Educational Options, author of School Choice, A Legacy to Keep, which is available on November 21st, so pre-order that on Amazon. And the film, which you can also download on Amazon, iTunes, and you should, Miss Virginia. Miss Virginia Walden Ford, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with the book and the film.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm hoping we'll be there sometime in the near future in Chicago.
Great.
Oh, yeah,
We'd love to have you.
Yep.
Boy, we could use you here. No question about it.
Well, I'd be happy to come.
All right. Thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Are you looking for the perfect gift? I hope you'll check out Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. I love these guys. Mike Gallagher here at Roland's. Not only do they care about making America great again, they also care about making your holiday moments memorable. Buying jewelry is about trust. Roland's is the go-to place. You're going to see why when you visit RolandsJewelers.com or head to downtown Libertyville to work with them in person. It's no hassle. They'll show you pieces from the top designers, Simon G. with beautiful pendants. The Hearts on Fire diamond earrings are a great choice. Italian designer Roberto Coin's collection is gorgeous. Ken over at Roland's is offering up to $500 for AM 560 The Answer listeners. Not just for jewelry, but luxury timepieces, like the watch I wear from Roland's, Shinola, or Longines, or Tag Heuer. Your choice. Roland's Jewelers makes your gift giving easy. RolandsJewelers.com. Let them help you in store in downtown Libertyville. Roland's Jewelers is a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
Is this your situation? Cellular or data services are bad inside your building or vehicle? People notice. People complain. This is Kelly Piles. My company is PC Net Services. We can fix that annoying problem. Resolving this is not as complicated or as expensive as you might think, but it does make a difference. I have worked with the largest cellular providers in the nation. We could approve your cellular and data signal inside your building with all major carriers. No more dropped calls, no more complaints. First responders, government agencies, and business owners have used us to get a better signal inside their building. We can do the same for you. PCNet Services, a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business connecting you to the world.
Get better cell service in your building, no matter which carrier. For a free analysis, call PCNet Services, 815-545-4439, 815-545-4439.
All right, I was off it for a few weeks, Balance of Nature, but I'm back on. And the best thing is I don't have leg cramps that wake me up in the middle of the night, probably because I'm getting potassium in those fruits and veggie capsules. Of course, I'm talking about Balance of Nature. Yes, 6 capsules of Balance of Nature. You're getting 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies. You hear the stories right here on the station about how people's lives have changed. If you have low energy, you want to boost your immune system, you want to take Balance of Nature. Because admit it, we're not getting enough fruits and vegetables in our diet, and that's where Balance of Nature comes in. So Balance of Nature is now offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time, so do not wait. Call the 800 number, 246-8751, and start Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. The operators / coaches will tell you all about it when you call 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
You love listening to AM 560 The Answer. How would you like to work for us? If you have experience in sales, we'd love to talk to you. You already understand our mission and what we do, so now maybe you'd like to join our team. If you have sales experience, and specifically if you understand digital marketing, we might have a job for you. If you love us, come join us. It could be a life-changing opportunity for you. For more information, just go to the Careers tab at salemmedia.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, oldest living couple in world history, at least according to Guinness Book of World Records. 211 years, the combined age of John, who's 106, and Charlotte, who's 105. They live in Austin. Married during the Great Depression, where the hotel room for their honeymoon was $7.
Oh.
John and Charlotte met in class at the University of Texas in 1934. Charlotte was studying to be a teacher. John played football for the Longhorns.
Oh, nice.
He also holds the title of world's oldest living former UT football player.
How long were they married?
They are married.
Excuse me.
Currently, they are married.
That's got to be
84 years.
What? Good for them.
They live in Longhorn Village, figures, in Austin. They are happy and healthy. Attribute the long life together to two things.
Drinking beer. No, open communications. And he married his best friend.
No.
Today I marry my best friend.
Moderation.
Oh, right. Moderation.
Moderation.
And
in all
exercise.
things. And being cordial to one another. Not necessarily communicating, but when you do, be cordial.
All right.
All right.
So that's their
That's
worldly
John and
advice.
Charlotte's secrets to success and longevity. So there you go.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Fresh off his successful birthday wish to Amy Jacobson, Anthony Scaramucci, the Mooch, joins us at 8:38. This should be interesting.
Oh, never a dull moment. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Blue skies and sunshine, 9 degrees right now with a wind chill of 7 below. Jimmy Carter is in an Atlanta area hospital this morning undergoing surgery to relieve pressure on his brain. Pressure from bleeding after 2 falls. Last month, the 95-year-old former president has been admitted to Emory University Hospital. Dreamers getting their day before the Supreme Court. Arguments set to begin over President Trump's decision to end DACA. Hong Kong protesters hitting the central part of the city and bringing it to a standstill over the shooting of a demonstrator yesterday.
There's no solution because the government never responds to any of our requests on the police violence.
Protesters believe they do not see their protest coming to an end anytime soon. Former Massachusetts governor reportedly thinking about running for the White House next year. New York Times reporting Deval Patrick could join the crowded field of Democrats because of a lack of political momentum from the current candidates. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot in Springfield today, hoping to make a deal with lawmakers in order to make a proposed Chicago casino more attractive to potential developers. Bulls are hosting the Knicks tonight. College hoops, DePaul beat Iowa last night, 93-78. Tonight, Loyola hosts Coppin State. The news service of Staples. Staples gives your business more for less. It's where you find the best printers at great prices. Right now, get up to $200 off the HP LaserJet Pro 400 series. Staples, for your business, tech, and beyond. In-store only, ends 11/16/19. See store or staples.com/HP 400 series for details. 8:33, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a major victory for our country and the president.
Biggest foreign policy achievement in the Trump administration, arguably. Big day, right? Huge day for the president of the United States and for this country, most of all. Number one terrorist in the world, taken out by our Army Special Forces.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your low water pressure, discolored water, or pipe leaks by repiping your home today. Repipe specialists have been repiping homes for over 25 years. With 40,000 home repipes completed, they stand behind their work. They have perfected the most efficient process for customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialists only uses high-quality PEX or USA Grade L copper pipe. And for a limited time, get 20% off and 0% interest. Repipe Specialists, the no-hassle, value-priced, all-inclusive repipe. Call today for your free in-home estimate tailored for your home at 800-216-0130. That's 800-216-0130. 800-216-0130.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest-growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
8:35 in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Eastbound Adams Tollway traffic is heavy, 25 to Roselle and Lee to the Tri-State. Then the inbound Kennedy is an hour and 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 47 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express, and outbound an hour to the airport. Eden's 33 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 39. Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to downtown, 40 from Mannheim. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State delays from 115th and Ridgeland to Plainfield Road. There's a stall in the right center lane, and it's heavy from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. It's on Reagan Tollway delays at Randall P. Ackley at 355 to Midwest Road. Northbound Veterans Memorial, it's heavy starting at I-55. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, sunny, very cold today, high of 21. Currently 9 degrees. Your next news is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, you would like to offer thank you. Your birthday celebration continues. We're almost midweek, and it's still ongoing.
Yes, Lynn Neiman. Lynn Neiman provided birthday breakfast this morning for all of us. So it was a gift that keeps on giving for all of you.
Yes.
And she decorated the studio. So thank you so much, Lynn. And nobody took it down today, Keith.
Yeah, that's great. So we got breakfast, and this is after we opened the week with the exciting news of special birthday wishes from you in video form, from Anthony Scaramucci, and he is the managing partner of Skybridge Capital, a global alternative investments firm. You'll recall he served as a White House comm director.
Yeah, for 10 days. It was a glorious 10 days, from July 21st through July 31st.
No, I don't know if is that supposed to be sarcasm? This is somebody who just wished you happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Amy Jacobson. Woo! 50 years old.
How excited he is.
40.
Pretty amazing. Dan, your co-hosts, Justin and Quinn, your producers are giving you the shout out. Now, I understand you're the co-host of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560.
Like you don't listen.
The Answer. Now, listen, I know you mispronounce names all the time on the air.
He does listen.
And I should really be messing up your name, but I'm wondering maybe you'll invite me on the show and then you can mispronounce my name. But 11/11 on Veterans Day, the big 5-0 for Amy Jacobson.
40.
Happy birthday, and the Mooch family wishes you many more.
Oh.
So
and that was really the most unique, creative gift I've ever received.
Although a little gauche to mention your age, I thought.
Well, he got the age wrong.
Of course,
I mean,
even
it's
more,
40,
even more
not
unseemly.
50.
All right, so we took Mr. Scaramucci up on his offer, the Mooch, and invited him on the show to talk about Amy Jacobson's birthday, maybe a few other matters too.
Well, good morning, guys. First of all, Amy, you're botching people's last names, but my time in the White House was 11 days.
11 days.
You got to count the days.
Fake news.
Don't jip me at a 9.1% of my federal career. You know, it hurts my feelings.
Sure.
But very happy birthday to you.
Thank
you. That got booked on Cameo, and all the proceeds of my cameos go to the Brain Tumor Foundation.
Oh.
So they're a lot of fun for me to do, and and I wish you a great birthday and many more.
I like the charity you chose.
Yeah,
that's near dear to our hearts.
Very nice. And you had the shortest career as White House communications director since that Pope who got poisoned. I thought you would appreciate a Wall Street reference. Yeah. All right.
It was a brutal run, 954,000 seconds if you were counting the seconds. But look, it is what it is. It was a great learning experience for me. And I returned back to my firm. One of the good things about owning your own firm, after you've blown to pieces in Washington, you can just go back to your desk at your own firm and start right up again.
Yeah, you could rehire yourself.
Yeah, exactly. A big learning lesson, but life moves on, and I think it's a big lesson for young people. I made a mistake in the White House that got me fired. I always tell young people, be accountable for that mistake. Don't pretend it didn't happen, and don't cast blame on others. Own the mistake, but then the flip side is you got to forgive yourself and move on. So that's what I've done.
Refresh our memory. What was the
mistake? And here we are now.
The mistake was being friends with Ryan Lizza, apparently.
Yeah, well, I trusted a reporter. I mean, go back and listen to what I said to him. It was an offhanded remark that I thought I was making to a friend. His father had worked with my dad in the construction industry here on Long Island for 50 years, and I unfortunately misplaced my trust, and I transposed their relationship onto mine and his, and that was my mistake. And so he got some salacious tidbit from me that I would have said at a bar to a close friend, jokingly. And, of course, he mischaracterized it. But if you actually listen to the recording, I'm joking with him, and, he strained that out of his article. But c'est la vie. It is what it is, and we move on. But truth of the matter is In a lot of ways, it was a great learning lesson for me, and you got to be resilient in life, and that's what it's all about.
What was the interest in sort of political communications coming out of the investment world in the first place?
Well, no interest whatsoever. So what happened to me is none of us thought President Trump was going to win on election night. He did win. He turned to several of us and said, "I want you to come work with us." My original response to that was no. I have my own business. I was hosting Wall Street Week for Fox Business on the Fox Business Network. There was, I frankly was enjoying my life. I didn't need that hassle. But then I got what was called Potomac fever, which is, here's the president-elect of the United States, asking you to help him. I've lived a good part of the American dream. I grew up in a blue-collar family, and so I said, you know what? I'll help him. And the original job was to be his chief networking officer, which was effectively the Office of Public Liaison. But Reince Priebus, the first chief of staff, really didn't want me in that job. And unfortunately, I didn't understand the passive-aggressive codes in Washington. And so if he had just come to me like a Wall Street guy and said, "Hey, look, man, I hate your guts. I don't want you in the job," I would say, okay, no problem. But he did all of these, backstabbing shenanigans. And so I wasn't reading the tea leaves well enough. And then I told the president, "Hey, this guy's a bad guy. When it's time to remove him, give me a call." And that was a severe egocentric mistake on my part. And so another thing I tell younger people: don't put your pride and ego into things. You make mistakes. And so that's what happened. And but he got blown out of the White House. So did Steve Bannon, and I went out with him.
And how did the relationship between you and President Trump evolve during the campaign and in the early days of his administration, and then devolve to now where you're a fairly vociferous critic of his?
Well, listen, it's not even personal. I mean, you just have to look at it. To me, it's a hiring decision. I had worked with Jeb Bush. I'm pretty much a moderate Republican, probably a little left-leaning on social issues, right of center on business, and pretty much a practical person. I was working with Jeb. Mr. Trump asked me to switch over to him when Jeb came out of the race. I thought that was a good thing to do. I decided to do it. Get along with him. Again, nothing personal to him, but this is me speaking as an entrepreneur. You go to hire somebody for a job. You're looking at their qualifications. Unfortunately, in the case of the presidency, you only have two people to choose from, and I'm a Republican, and so I went with Mr. Trump, chose him for the job, like many other people did, 62.8 million people, and now it's 3 years into the job, and you're assessing the job that's being done, and I think he's actually doing a disastrous job. I mean, we can talk about the economy in a second if you want, because he's taking credit for that. That's primarily born from the interest rate cycle, and it's primarily born from American industry and American entrepreneurship. But his content and his style is actually detonating the United States, and it's charging us racially. And the first name of the country is United, and he's dividing the country. But then when you go into the lawless behavior, it's more questionable. So for me, it was a gradual thing. I wanted to support him after I got fired. Not a big deal that I got fired. But when you're disavowing the intelligence agencies, calling the press the enemy of the people, telling 4 congresswomen, 3 of which were born in the United States, to go back to the countries they originally came from, those are racist, nativist tropes from 150 years ago. They told my Italian grandmother to do that. She produced 2 World War II veterans, one who was wounded on Normandy Beach, and obviously my mom. And so I don't like it, and I'm not going to disavow my personal history or my personal integrity to support somebody that's doing that. And so when he went to attack me, that's fine. Then he thought it was a good idea to attack my wife. I mean, I think that's boundaryless. I'm not Ted Cruz. I'm not a politician. I don't think you should be attacking civilians. And so here we are now. But just look at what he did. At the end of the day, he's attacking an American citizen from the position of the American presidency by asking a foreign leader's help in the attack of that American citizen, Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And so, we can twist it any way we want, okay? And people will do that are partisan. That's fine, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell people what I really think.
Well, let's. I mean, there's a lot there. Let me start with the dividing the country. the identitarians of the left, all of the candidates on the left for President of the United States, as well as all of the leftists in control of the cultural and civic institutions in this country who obsess about identity politics, who poison college campuses, who have invented things like intersectionality. Do you think that focusing on everybody's identity, their race, their gender, their religion, their heritage, and coming up with a score, do you think that in any way has to do with why our nation is less united than it could be, irrespective of President Trump?
Okay, and I'm going to agree with every single point that you just made, but you're doing something that Joseph Stalin refined in the early stages of Russian communism. Yeah, it's called whataboutism.
Yeah.
And so when somebody said, well, look at this bread line here in communist China, the Joseph Stalin propagandist said, well, what about the racial divide in the United States? Black people can't play baseball, or African Americans can't play baseball in the United States. So you're doing something called whataboutism. It's totally fine. You can do that.
No, I'm actually not doing whataboutism. I'm actually not doing whataboutism.
No, but I'll see that you're. Let's get the gun back on the bird of Donald Trump, President Trump.
No, we're talking.
So you're telling me I agree with you on every one of your points. Do you agree with me on any of mine?
Yeah,
every one of your points I cede to you and agree with.
Well,
but let's focus on Donald Trump for a second.
No,
and not the left. We've got a problem on the left too that has to be fixed. I totally agree with that. I don't like that. I'm by and large a libertarian, and I don't need people to tell me what my identity is or what other people's identities are and how I should speak to people. I don't believe in all that political correct nonsense. So you and I are in 100% agreement in everything you just said, but let's go back to Donald Trump. You agree with him?
Can I answer the question now? So one is, it's not whataboutism. The question is, why is our country not united or not as united as we could be, particularly across racial, ethnic, religious lines? And so I'm giving a diagnosis that precedes Trump and could include Trump, but it's a diagnosis. It's not whataboutism. I think the Stalinist comparison is a little over the top, but okay. With respect to some of the things President Trump has said, and I've been critical of him on this show. I don't like that he punches down with respect to private citizens. I don't like some of the ways he's engaged his political opponents. So I will concede those points. But I think to ascribe the division in the nation to a single individual, even the President of the United States, is to ignore 50 years of running up to this point and presenting a landscape where President Trump could be a President Trump.
We may be talking over each other because I'm not ascribing the entire debacle to him, but he is the one person, unfortunately, that all of us get to vote on. If you look at the way they set up the construction of the documents and the Republican representative democracy, there's only one person that all eligible voters get to vote on, and that's the American president. And so a lot of times what you would hope in the office of the presidency, and we can be critical of many presidents of this, not just President Trump, you would want them to try to appeal to everybody to the best of their capability as opposed to sticking into one zone of tribalism. So I agree with you. It's not his problem. He didn't start it 50 years ago or 75 years ago. He didn't break up the media situation and create all these tribal zones where people go into their confirmed biases and listen to each other in an echo chamber. I totally agree with you on that. But as the leader of the United States and the representative or the proverbial leader of the free world, I think it's incumbent upon somebody in that position, to recognize that the first name of the country is united. And they could be taking positions as a leader and someone that controls the bully pulpit to try to heal the nation more than what's going on right now.
Let me jump to another category here of discussion, and you mentioned his reference to certain media outlets being the enemy of the people. What did you think about the Beltway media before you got into this arena and had your stint as comm director, and what do you think about it now?
I think the Beltway media has been unfair to the president. I think if you look at the Pew Research surveys, don't go by me, just go by objective standards, I think they've been unfair to the president. And so I think the Beltway media is tilted to the left. I think the Harvard study said it was 91% tilted to the left. And so I'm not a huge fan of that. But what I am a fan of is our First Amendment. And what I am a fan of is the recognition of whatever they're saying or whatever they're doing, they have a right to say it. And remember, One of the reasons why they put that in place was to hold people in power accountable. And, because people in power, they go crazy. I mean, I got to see it over an 11-day period of time and watching it unfold right now. But the second and most important thing, and I think your listeners would appreciate this, when you teach your second graders to speak and think freely, they go on and create Facebook and Google and Apple Computer. And the First Amendment allows for that zone of creativity. In communist China, 2/3 of the internet is censored. You can't say anything about the leadership there. If you say something about President Xi, it puts you in a rejuvenation camp for 6 to 12 months as a young child. So to me, I think it's very, very important that we hold that sacred. But if you're asking me to evaluate the Beltway media, I think they're extremely biased. I think they're very, very slanted, and I think they've been unfair to the president. But the president is a very effective communicator, and he could have done things stylistically to parry that and to rebut it. You could go on Google. CNN published my comms plan before I was fired. I put a 9-page plan together, but the summary is what they published. And the president, very effective communicator, controlling the bully pulpit. He could have beat that back in a way stylistically that would have been more healing than where we are right now.
And
but no question, they're very left leaning and very biased.
So I take it, are you looking forward to the impeachment hearings, which are just one day away?
No, I'm actually not looking forward to it. I think it's a travesty that we're in a situation where this will be the third time in American history that a president's impeached due to lawless behavior. And so I think it's a tragedy for the country. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens when all of this information is in the public domain, and these great civil servants and these public servants, somebody like Bill Taylor, who's politically agnostic, has served the nation since he graduated from West Point. When people hear his open testimony on public television, it'll be very interesting to see where people line up on the side of the Republicans, because you're going to have a moment here where you're going to have to look into yourself and you have to figure out if you are a partisan or a patriot. And it'll be very interesting to see what happens here as this unfolds. But no, I'm saddened by it.
Well, I mean, Bill Taylor, it'll be interesting. You're right. I mean, Bill Taylor, among others, and I'll take everything Bill Taylor said as at his word, including the fact that he never spoke to the president. So it's going to be very interesting if you read the transcripts of Vindman's testimony and Taylor's testimony, which I have. It will be very interesting and very illuminating, and I think it's going to be a very difficult case for the Democrats to make out that this moves anywhere other than to a quick dismissal in the Senate or acquittal in the Senate. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm glad it's coming out. We can agree definitely that
unless there's more facts that are evolved.
True.
There's more facts.
But I mean, we can definitely agree that this should be in public. That all of this should be public, and the American people should have access to all this information, and people need to be held to account publicly and questioned publicly, so people can make their own assessments in terms of support for this or not. When you're talking about removing a president from office.
Hey, listen, you and I both agree on that, but I think that the investigatory process, unfortunately, is never public, but it's going to be public now. And the Republicans asked for a vote on the impeachment inquiry; they got that, and so let's see what happens. But I could be right about this or wrong. We'll have to see how this unfolds. But it's likely, given the president's personality and given the fact there's 193 nations in the UN, and there's been 3 years of the presidency, or 29 or 30 months of the presidency. It's very likely that there was more than one call like that. And so we'll have to see how this thing unfolds. But it sounds like you and I are on opposite sides of this. But let's see where the American people are. The truth of the matter is none of us, nor President Trump should be held above the standard of the law. So if he broke the law, it'll be very interesting to see what the Republicans decide to do.
He is Anthony Scaramucci, managing partner of Skybridge Capital, global alternative investments firm, and, of course, served a stint as White House comm director and made Amy's birthday.
Yes, you did.
With
Thank
your
you
video
so
birthday
much.
wishes.
It was fun.
Amy, happy birthday. I'm telling people I'm 35, Amy, so you can stick with 40. Totally fine.
That's right. The one acceptable thing to lie about. All right. Anthony Scaramucci, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right. Be well.
Thanks, you too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention maintenance coordinators. Fans are a vital part of your business's building or factory. You've got to keep the air moving. But when they break down or need service, who can you call? Vans Industrial repair all types of fans, from small wall fans to large air movers.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Fan repair is one of many services that Vans offers. If you have a fan with a damaged shaft, bearing, impeller, or housing, we can help. And if you need a new fan, we handle all major brands and can provide engineering assistance to properly size your new fan. Our crews can respond to your emergencies or routine maintenance and will have your fan back up and running fast. And when we're done repairing your fan, we can also dynamically balance it so it runs smooth for years to come.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to get your fan repaired today. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Hey, listeners have helped MyPillow become an amazing company. And today, Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to the listeners. And you can get deep discounts still on all MyPillow products by going to MyPillow.com and clicking on the new radio listeners special box. I love MyPillow. Cannot sleep without it. That's why I have a travel pillow. So if I go anywhere, I can put that on top of a regular pillow and sleep just like a baby. Love the mattress toppers, the Giza cotton sheets, and so much more. And guess what? The body pillow that provides the perfect comfort and support for your entire body. Regularly $89.99, but with promo code Amy, it's $29.99. And all products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now they also have MyPillow towels, which are very soft and absorbent. They're really great. Comes in all different colors. And you can get bath towels, washcloths, hand towels. Find it all at MyPillow.com. And when you check out, be sure to type in Amy and get 30% off your entire order.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% vine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
8:59 on AM 560. Here are the stories we're watching at this hour. A lakeshore flood warning remains in effect. Mayor Lori Lightfoot is visiting Springfield today, hat in hand. Bulls hosting the Knicks tonight, and the Bears could lose linebacker Danny Trevathan for the rest of the season. Sunny and still very cold today. WIND Chicago.